welcome, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time you are watching this. Welcome back to the Unpopular Black Gamer, aka Dante. We are here to recap, review Star Trek Strange New Worlds Season 3, Episodes 4 and 5. As always, I have my boy Patrick who is with me today. Say hello, Patrick.
Hey everybody, I just want to welcome you into the official Cam Ward podcast where we talk everything Cam
Hold on,
Ward,
wait, wait, wait,
everything that,
wait,
huh?
whoa, wait, wait. This is not the sports one. This is the Star Trek one.
Oh, Cam
Yeah.
Ward's not on Star Trek?
No, no, no. Cam Ward is an NFL quarterback for the Tennessee Titans.
I thought he was in this episode.
No, no, no.
He's kind of in everything I watch though now. So,
If y'all can't, if y'all can't hear that, we Patrick is a Titans fan, and Cam Ward just had his first preseason game, and he actually looked pretty decent. And as a Tampa Bay fan, anytime you are starved from quarterback play and you finally get a quarterback that looks halfway decent, you are rejoicing.
I'm in the same spot as most of the fan base. Like, I want to be as happy as I want to feel, but also I'm like not letting myself
You're trying not to
feel
get too
feelings yet.
overhyped.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh, uh,
So,
uh.
sorry, unpopular explorers. We have hit the point where football season is starting. So, while we're not going to be breaking down games or anything, like it's definitely going to leak in
Yeah, y'all
to the
probably gonna hear
podcast
a
here and there.
lot more football references going
Ooh, the
forward.
first day we record after Tampa Bay loses a game on some BS. It's good.
Mm, mm, it's gonna be a therapy session. That's what it's gonna be.
That episode's going to take like 5 hours to get there. I'm going to be like, hey, man, I understand your feelings, but we got to talk Star Trek right now. That's what the people have showed up for.
So I know y'all are like, so y'all been going for a minute. Yeah, yeah. So last weekend, Patrick and Kumla, my other friend who joins us, they came back into town and we had a good night. By good night, I mean we drank a lot. And
We sure did.
my lovely wife was our chauffeur, so we could make sure to make it home safely. So
And she went over, above, and beyond.
the mints though, the mints and the
The
drinks,
mints.
she did not tell me anything about that. So I laughed at that
Oh,
at the
that's
same time
hilarious.
y'all did. So
All she was missing was an app. Like, if she knew an app developer, that would have been amazing.
if we had talked about that beforehand, I would have had her like on her iPad pull up the tipping thing. Be like, here, give me a tip.
hmm Fair, fair.
So that happened, and then this weekend we took another vacation. Me and Patrick, my wife, some family, and everything. We went to a nice festival. So yeah,
Where we also.
where we also drink a lot. Yeah, if you haven't noticed, we're drinkers. I don't know if y'all noticed that or not, but we are
And
drinkers.
synthahol has not been invented yet. However, it works.
No, it
It has
has
not been
not.
invented.
I,
So
you
we
know what?
we experience.
I should have put that on my technologies. That's BS. Synthol.
We One of us needs to add to the list. We probably should do a synthahol episode, or like you said, revisit it. And when we do another technology episode,
It'd probably be like
um,
drinking in Star Trek, where we could like talk about
as it
that. Like,
worked.
see, like if because it would really be cool for us to try to see if like certain brands make it to the 24th century.
Oh, that would be interesting to talk about.
Like, is there
All right,
Jack Daniels in 24th century?
I'm gonna add it to the list. You might
We'll
be able
workshop
to
it.
roll it into a different episode,
Yeah,
but
we'll
yeah, we
workshop it.
need to.
Yeah. But today We are focusing on Star Trek Strange New Worlds episodes 4 and 5. Um, I'm not even gonna lie to the uh, the unpopular explorers. I really was expecting one of these to be a terrible episode because I felt we had a nice stream of pretty good, pretty decent episodes. So I'm always normally expecting for one of the episodes within the season to be like kind of a flop.
I didn't used to think that, but yes, it did occur.
I mean, after last season, like
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of expecting it. But episode 4 is entitled "A Space Adventure Hour." So I'm not even gonna lie. I'm conflicted by this episode, and mainly because it's a holodeck episode, and I have to do the research to see exactly when the holodeck was considered um, like the essential piece of technology that they started putting into all the spaceships, well, all the starships, I should say. So
Well, I thought they.
they
Oh no, I don't want to cut you off.
yeah, I think they did a good job of trying to like show like this technology isn't like fully ready yet. So,
Yeah,
but we'll
because
get
it's
more
just
into
a
that.
test.
It is
Yeah,
a
okay,
test.
yeah, all right.
It is a test. And I love the fact that they did point out the whole like in Voyager, they point out that the holodeck is on a separate. It has its own separate power source and own separate computer as well. So I like that
Right.
they did like at least use that lore within this episode. But we'll get more into that. But a lot of the things that I loved about this episode was especially the beginning, starting off with like the old school look, which is what like I smiled when I saw that. So, but
Okay, before we even get into it,
hmm
we got to talk about the fact that this episode was directed by Commander Riker, Jonathan
oh,
Frakes
I did not know
himself.
it was directed by Jonathan Franks. I didn't see that.
Oh, so one of the bloopers
Mm.
must have just been kind of ha ha funny, but like it was hilarious. Well, we'll
Okay,
get to it.
we'll get to that.
But yeah, Jonathan Frakes directed this episode, and he must have had a time with it, being able to do all this like because usually they bring him in for I feel like the like action packed, super futuristic episodes with a lot
hmm
of stakes and weight on it. So to
hmm
get to do like a whimsy episode where he can like direct something like it was back in like the '60s and um, get all the actors to play vastly different characters than they played before. I imagine he had to have fun with that one. I don't know if he's
It
like got any public statements on it, but like
This is starting to
I
make
thought
a
it was
lot of
cool.
sense. Now I'm starting to understand the episode more now, and I might end up just for that, like raising my score. But
Hmm.
um, like, cause not but Jonathan Frakes, one of his like directorial skills is he loves to find ways of advancing the characters, like in some
Right.
way, like some meaningful development with the characters. And okay, all right, truth time, truth time.
Hmm.
The reason why I thought this episode was going to be awful because it was a La'an centric episode. It was a
Ah.
La'an centered episode. The last time we had a La'an centered episode,
Oh,
we
yeah.
all know what happened.
Mhm.
Yes.
So there were a lot of writing issues in that one, and I don't think it was directed by Frakes. I don't think so, at
I
least.
don't believe so.
Uh,
I'm pretty sure we looked at that. It was someone I can't think of the name though. So we'll look that up
yeah,
later.
I'm googling it now, but as you know, I will take as much Christina Hendricks as a show will. Not Hendricks. What's her name? Christina Chong.
Uh, well, dang. Now you're making me
Looking it
sound
up. Yeah,
terrible
Christina
here.
Chong. Christina Hendricks was a great actress on Mad Men.
Yeah.
Christina Chong. So I'll take as much that they'll give us. But yeah, I'm
Oh
not
no,
going to name the episode.
don't get me
But
wrong
yeah,
though.
that was
She's a great actress. Come on now, like I love her
well.
character. I love her as an actress, and I can tell her additional skills that she has. She's a dancer, singer, like she's very talented. It's just the writers did not do her any favors last season. So I,
Well, and
I was scared that the
that's
writers might do the same thing now.
that's been actually kind of like a relief on this season that early on they get to, and I assume it doesn't work like this in real life, so mental
Hmm.
health professionals don't get at me, but they kind of wrap up her trauma with the Gorn and let her start moving on with her life, and it's given her so much more to do and say that she's become much more interesting to me than the very
Yeah,
one note I'm security,
yeah.
like
I'm always
we're either
upset with
swinging on them or we're
people.
nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm definitely okay. The episode that shall not be named was directed by Amanda Rowe and written by David Reed. So yeah, totally
Yes.
different
Yes.
setup here. Between this episode was directed by Jonathan Frakes and was written by Dana Horgan. Horgan. What?
Oh,
Am I reading that right?
that's hilarious. What the was the Horgar named after her?
I don't know. Horgan. That's what Wikipedia says.
Okay, we'll have to look that up.
Maybe it's Horgan.
It's
Maybe
probably
that's how you say
Horgan.
it.
It's probably Horgan.
Okay.
But I'm
And Catherine Lynn is the other writer. I want to give them both. Oh, so this episode was written by women for a woman lead. So that's
huh. Hmm. Hmm.
maybe that's why it came off a little bit better.
Gee. Huh.
We
Look what
we got
happened when you put a
Jonathan
little.
Frakes.
Looks
We
what
got
happens when
women
you put a
writers.
little bit of DEI into the writers' room, huh?
I know. Take that poster down there. We're a meritocracy here. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to get political on a Star Trek podcast.
I
Let me
did not
take
mean
that
to
back.
get political either. Star Trek is not about politics.
Yeah, notoriously apolitical, just like Uhura's
Even,
speech
even though
in the
there was
middle of
a
this
speech
episode
in this
indicated.
episode. But let's go ahead and start the recap. We stalled for
Okay,
too much
yeah.
long.
Well, yeah, and we're trying to watch the runtime for various reasons. Both also because a little bit behind the scenes, we both just got back into our respective places
Hmm.
after the festival, so we might run out of energy by the end of this as well. So we're on
I'm
the
fine.
clock.
I'm off work tomorrow, so I'm good.
Yeah, I gotta go into work, but we'll talk about that offline. But no, we won't. We actually won't talk about that offline. I'll just be showing up doing the things I usually do on Monday. Okay, so because we got 2 episodes, we're not gonna do the in memory alpha, which I think we said at the end of our last review we're gonna be workshopping that anyways.
Yeah. Memory Alpha. The breakdown of Memory Alpha goes it's way too long, and so we're gonna have to do some behind the scenes things where we workshop the Memory Alpha to kind of cut it down so we can make sure to stay within a certain time frame with these lives, because I understand not everybody wants to sit through a 3-4 hour YouTube video. I understand that.
Yep.
2 hours is still pretty long for YouTube, but there are people who love those longer runs, but not just too long. So that's why we try to keep it pretty. We're trying to make sure to keep things better for everyone. So
Yep, and ourselves because those
yeah,
episodes run pretty late for us on
yeah,
on a Sunday.
and we're not
We
as
still got
famous as we want to
jobs.
be.
Until the unpopular explorers start funding this whole operation, then
I will
we
once
can't.
I hit the lottery. I will once
There
I
you
hit the
go.
lottery.
So, as requested, we're going off of Wikipedia this week, which is about a paragraph. Lon is tasked with
Hold on, it's
testing
a paragraph.
both. All the Wikipedia ones are just a paragraph.
Oh,
I mean,
really?
this thing.
Why do I thought it gives you a slight breakdown?
So, eventually, someone will write an article about like the whole episode, right? And then it'll be like production and cast and all that stuff, and there were a bunch of notes. But when they first just come out, I'm just going off the one that's in like the page for the season,
Well, like
and whoever writes the page for the season just
summary synopsis.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like
this is
what
this
you would read on the
about.
back of a book if you were like trying to figure out what it was about.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Except it gives away the end, so it has spoilers in it still.
Of course it does.
Yeah. So La'an is tasked with testing the holodeck, a new holographic simulator, and asks the computer to create a murder mystery for her to solve. It generates a scenario featuring the cast and crew of a 1960s science fiction series called The Last Frontier, using likenesses of people who have boarded the Enterprise. Oops, I read that sentence wrong. I didn't read this ahead of time. Using the likenesses of people who have boarded the Enterprise. As the story gets more involved, La'an asks for Spock's help. Scotty attempts to single-handedly balance the large amount of power required to run the holodeck with the ship's other needs, barely allowing it to escape damage from a collapsing neutron star. When La'an is trapped and the holodeck's safety protocols fail, because of course, Scotty sends a message explaining that she must solve the mystery to end the simulation. La'an, who has grown close to Spock during dancing lessons over recent months, realizes that... I know, we'll get there. I got a note about that on as well. Realizes that the Spock she is with is a hologram and the unaliver. I don't know what I'm allowed to say on YouTube. The guy who did it, the whodunit, is solved when they realize it's the hologram Spock. The simulation ends, and La'an recommends holodecks not be approved for general use until the technology is improved. Number 1 encourages Scotty to ask for help in the future, and during another dance lesson, La'an and the real Spock kiss. So where do we want to start with all that? Because I have... So I will say this. My parasocial celebrity
crush... Get into their romance. Let's not get into that just now.
Because that's what I was about to say. My parasocial celebrity crush that I have on Christina Chong makes me want to start there, but I understand as a mature man that that's not real. So there's no need to for me to tee off on Spock or Ethan Peck, the actor.
Yeah. It's definitely not his fault. But like when you said that this was directed by Jonathan Frakes. Frakes, excuse me.
I know, it's easy to do. That's why I'm helping out.
It's easy to say that. Jonathan Frakes. This is right up his alley. Like I said, he focuses on some like meaningful character development for characters. Honestly, from the past few episodes, I kind of saw this coming, but I was hoping they didn't go that direction.
Same here. I think I said that the last review we did, where I was just kind of like, because I'm already tired of the Spock Chapel thing.
I am. Yeah.
And I have a note here at some point that I guess I wrote out of exasperation, and it says, so we're doing the Spock La'an thing. Is Spock going to F everyone on the ship?
So, okay, and we'll get back to that. I don't want to get there this early. So,
okay,
let's start from the top. All right. First off, the old school, like, because we had zero context when we first saw the beginning. All right. You had zero context. But I loved every minute of it. The overacting, the how crazy the sets look. How basically it was the original series. They were poking fun a bit at the original series, even the acting from the original series with the actor that is playing Kirk.
Yeah, Paul something. Yeah. he said in an article. He said in an article that he was doing a full Shatner impression. Like he watched it and just leaned into it as much as he could to do that. And I felt like he nailed it.
He nailed it. He did a really good job at it. I was just like, we're gonna go full blown Shatner here.
I loved it. I loved the beginning of it, even though I was confused as to what was going on. Even though I knew this episode was coming because of the series trailers. forever. My first note was WTF are they doing? And spelled out, you know. I was like, what is happening?
I mean,
Um,
it's Star Trek. Whenever something like that starts out, it's always like, oh, this is somebody's like dream,
yeah, exactly.
holodeck, or some shenanigans happen that like put them in some type of alternate reality, or whatever craziness. So I was just like, I was rolling with it. It was funny to me.
I was rolling with it too, but so my comment is only that I didn't know if something important was going on, like
Got you,
that I
got
needed
you.
to like pay attention to, or if I could just like cut my brain off for a second and just like enjoy this like homage, but also kind of parody, like of what it was back in the '60s. And the alien with
With the two
the
eyes that they were holding up with
yeah,
that was hilarious.
you can see their heads.
It was hilarious, but I love that because they were showing how practical effects were done back then,
Hmm.
um, and how like now now when you're watching a show, you don't have to suspend your belief too much because they do a good job of like with the CGI, even practical
Yeah,
effects with the sets and everything. So it's just like a lot of it looks real. But so it's very rare that you get something that doesn't look like it. You can definitely tell that there was some CGI done or so on and so forth. Um, so for them to like show that from like how it was
it
50
was
years
awesome.
ago, it was. It was.
And even some of the like, and I'm not a film school person, so I don't know what the technical terms of this would be, but like some of the ways they staged the shots, some of the way they
Mm-hmm.
made cuts,
Mm-hmm.
some of the lighting that they did on like close-ups and stuff, like having watched, and you've watched TOS, and I've watched a little bit more TOS than you, I'm like, this is exactly what it looks like.
And here's the other thing that I want to point out: giving the actors props within this scene, everyone that was within the scene, because they had to overact basically, and
Yeah.
like pretty much go against their whole being to like force these particular scenes. It's like whatever you are able to do to the best of your ability, like your job. I am in finance. You are in corporate strategy. Like you do this on a day to day basis. You are a professional within this. It would be
Hmm.
difficult for you to do that job terrible
Yeah.
because
If the instruction was to, and that's
yeah, if
um,
somebody told you
for
to
just
do
for
your job terrible, it would be very difficult for you to do your job terrible.
no, and just to protect my current employment in case anyone stumbles upon this, like at a prior place, someone actually said to me in a project, like, and this is not something I really need to A work on. And I said to them, I'm like, I don't really know anything else to, if you don't want A work, give it to someone else. Like, I don't,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
so yeah, for them to do, and we see this in other things. I can't think of a example right off the bat where actors are playing actors on TV or movies and they're bad actors. And I'm like, wow, how did they pull that off?
How
Because
you do
you're
that?
right.
Like you have to like really force it, like especially when you got into a certain point within your career, and you just it's almost like an automatic action. It's just like almost like a turn, like you flip a switch and you're doing
Yeah.
it. So I, it to me from my point of view, like it shows how good they are at acting to be able
Yeah.
to pull something like this that looks and sounds terrible, but for a reason because that's how what they used to do back in the '60s.
Yeah. But it also was like an homage because it was
Yeah.
a
Oh
really
yeah. 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 Yeah.
it it was a really entertaining section of the show where like yeah, okay, she stole the brain cells. Like I don't know what that means, but yeah,
I
we
don't know
gotta
what
go
that
get them back, you
means.
know?
I have that. I have that in my notes. I have brain cells gone? Question mark. Question mark. Question mark.
She stole the brain cells and everyone was still alive and I was like, "Oh, so not
Oh no! Actually, I have a few things from
what?
that scene. Nuclear lasers.
The nuclear lasers, yeah. And
uh,
then he
Ful-
fired back with
Photon
yeah.
photonized photonese beams, something like that.
I took that as because I think
Photonic beams. I think that's what he
yeah, the
said.
photonic beams. I took that as because there's actually more real science that was inspired by Star Trek
Yes.
than Star Trek actually had real science to pull from.
Yes.
So I took that as like almost like an homage to like, yeah, sometimes they just made stuff up and just like used a word that didn't
Yeah. Yeah.
like they didn't actually know.
Yeah.
And of course you had no internet and I guess you could have consulted experts, but that would have cost money, right? Like so I kind of took it as an homage of like, yeah, sometimes the sci-fi writers, if they're too far ahead, have to just be like,
And then
well, this is a sciencey word I read in the paper, so
and then if you're thinking
we're
it
gonna
from
put it
from
in.
a 60s reference, like around that time is a little bit after the World War II, where we used nuclear weapons.
Yeah,
So like at
exactly.
that time would have been like the most powerful energy in existence was nuclear. So like so that's why like nuclear beings like hold up wait what.
They're firing at us with the nuclear lasers. Yeah, I enjoyed that so much that I almost said to the TV, I'm like, yeah, they are. Yeah, the shields up, no shields.
No,
We're
no,
gonna take a hit from
maybe.
the nuclear lasers. Okay.
I guess they had. I guess that's how they got their brain cells. I still don't know
It
what
didn't
that
need to
meant.
make sense. It didn't need to make sense. It was fine. I was entertained, and I liked the customized intro on the
Yes,
episode as
I would say
well.
that I love the old school rendition of the opening song. I did like
Yep.
that.
Also, I thought I saw somewhere. I could be totally wrong about this,
Hmm.
but I thought I saw somewhere very early on, the Star Trek, the Federation ships weren't going to be gray and blue and with red accents and things like that, but they were going to be like this gold reddish kind of thing. I thought that was like a throwback to that, but I didn't have
Oh,
time because we're
really?
doing this. Yeah, I didn't have time because we're doing this a bit on the fly to like go
Yeah.
look up original ship designs, but I thought that was a thing because when I saw it, I was like, that looks oddly familiar, and I feel like I've seen someone say like, oh yeah, early ship the designs for the actual show like look like this, but they switched it because it didn't film right or something like that.
It probably didn't look like within the because you know they used props to show the ship moving.
Yeah,
It probably just didn't look right within the background that they were able to create. I
yeah.
would be
So would
interested
you
if we're able to
serve on
find
the
that.
USS Adventure?
I would not serve on the U.S. But going forward, like I said, that all that was great, and then going into La'an, them talking to her about um, uh, pretty much testing the holodeck and pretty much pushing it to its limits. At this point, we all knew what was going to happen here.
We did, and two things came to mind in this moment.
Uh huh.
One, did you catch the recreation room Easter egg? I
Yes.
I know. Okay,
Yes.
all right. So you probably were going to mention that. I didn't mean to steal your thunder
No, no,
there.
no, no. I was not going to mention that, but yes, I did catch that, and I believe, and I have to go back to do the rewatch on Enterprise, but I believe that's what the aliens where they learned this technology from
They
called it.
called it that too.
I want to
Okay,
say that. Don't quote me on that because it's been a while since I watched that particular episode. It's for all that
it's not a good
for
episode.
all y'all that know that that's the episode when Trip got pregnant. So. Uh,
Terrible, terrible episode.
It
But we'll
wasn't.
get
It
to that in
wasn't
our rewatch series.
terrible comparatively to some other terrible episodes that happened on Enterprise, uh, but it wasn't the best.
Look, like 3 or 4 years from now, when we're rewatching Enterprise, we'll cover that then. Um, I also have to admit that
Hmm.
given what we learned about how people use the holodeck in lower decks, I had a very funny thought
What
when Pike was like, "Well, push it to its limits," and I'm like, "Well, what if you only use the holodeck for,
for
you know,
for adult
you know,
relations would be the best terminology to use. Can you push it to its limits? Then some people will argue,
ha-
yes, yes, they can.
some people argue yes." The que- My question is if you're pushing it to the limits that way, then how do you solve like? It's convenient that she chose a mystery because you could solve the program, but how does the program know it's over if
When
she
you're
was pushing it to the limits
finished,
that way?
Patrick, when you're finished
Oh
is the
God! And they had the
only PG way that I can say this, okay?
and they had the little thing on her neck that was like
Yeah.
sitting out her brain. Like if she
So
used it for that purpose, like oh my
I
God.
saw that originally, and I was just like, why she have that little? What in Star Trek: The Next Generation, I always think of as like a cortical stimulator.
That's what it looked like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I was like, why she had that on there? I don't remember any procedures that she had this season that she would need to have that on there. I wonder if they're going to point that out. And then Spock was just like, yeah, the that gizmo is like pretty much reading your neurons to like get to understand and know you better.
That was during the first of two, what I'm going to call dance position
Mm-hmm.
scenes, dance exposition.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, because it felt like a scene got cut where she went to sickbay to get the little neuro reporter thingy. I don't know
It,
what they called it.
that is a possibility that they could have probably uh, had that scene in there, but then probably cut that on the when they were going through edits. They're just like, well,
Yeah,
you
maybe
know,
like,
Spock says
yeah,
it in this scene, so there's no point in having a scene showing her getting that put on for
yeah.
time
Or they
sakes.
reshot like the first 15 seconds of the dancing for him to say it as
That's
opposed to having
possible.
her
That's
go to
possible.
sickbay. Yeah, like, what? It felt like one of the, because there was very light treatment given to that, and it never came up in an important part of the episode, if I remember it, even though I've only
It
seen it.
kind of does, and I'll point that out when we get there. So
Okay.
there is a point where it comes back to that. So, but my biggest thing with this particular scene was the beginning of this whole La'an and Spock thing,
Yeah,
and
we were on the. I'm gonna purposely cut you off right there, and I know
uh
you
huh.
hate that, but that's only because I'm coming in to agree with you. My note says, "Please don't give Spock another crewmate girlfriend." I don't want to do it again.
I'm okay. I held out long enough. I held out long enough. Like,
This is
dude, like, okay, all right, all right. Here is my issue with them writing in Spock and La'an having a whatever type of relationship they are having, which we'll talk
yeah.
about that in the
We'll get
next
to yeah,
episode
exactly.
because
We'll
there's
get to
that crap is
that.
in there too. Okay. By the time we finish Strange New Worlds, when you go back and watch the original series, that I know, I understand production, like there are always prequels to stuff, they retcon things, da 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 da. I understand that. I don't give a flying flip, okay?
Right.
So, Spock is an iconic character for Star Trek. And I don't mind them exploring deeper into the younger Spock, quote unquote, younger Spock. Uh,
Right.
but they're having him go through certain things that happened in the original series that shaped him.
Yes.
So it's kind of leaving some of that stuff, if we're looking at it chronologically in order, it's kind of leaving a lot of the stuff that happened in the original series and in the movies. It makes it mute because he already learned some of this in Strange New Worlds.
Mm. I hadn't even quite picked up on that yet.
It it was a one thing for him to have this relationship with Chapel. It ended. It hurt. I give that because you still want to have some type of character development with Spock. We can't just make him a flat character throughout the whole series. He does
right.
need some type of like uh, element with the crew that like shows him being more human.
Yeah.
So, but I feel like they're going the wrong way with this.
I think so too. I didn't think about the aspect that there's some emotional development that were like big payoffs if you watch the movies in TOS,
Yeah.
and even if you watch the first Kelvin series movie, and if you
Uh
watch
huh.
the TNG episodes, and that's like, oh, these are huge things we didn't know about Spock. Because Spock was just like a robot when we first met him. But so you're right, it's like they're trying to lay the seeds for him to tap back into that, and we haven't seen what made him stop doing that to begin with. So it like makes no sense.
The only way
Um,
that they can make this make sense, the only way they can make this make sense is by, and I apologize for cutting you off.
no, go ahead. You're good.
In the last season of Strange New World, they're gonna to have him going back to Vulcan to do the, I believe it's called the Kolinar, where
Oh
you
yeah,
like
yeah.
purge yourself of all emotion and everything before he goes back to be on the starship with Kirk. That's the only way they can make this make sense. And I'm actually giving this freely to the writers. So if y'all listening to this, hey, y'all have an out. Y'all have an
You have
out.
an out.
I'm giving you the out, a real world reason to give an out for this. Okay? But that's like the only way that you can make this make sense within the timeline of everything. And like I said, I get it. This is a prequel. So it's like you want character development within the characters, but it's also hard because you have to stay within a certain guidelines, certain set of guidelines that's already been laid out for you. So, um, what?
Yeah, and well, this separate from that. This is my problem with it is that
Okay.
when you did it with Chapel, I thought it was creative. I was like, oh, this is an interesting arc.
I liked it.
They serve together later, so like obviously something doesn't go right, and I had totally forgotten about Corby from TOS, so they introduce him, and I'm like, oh, that's right. Yeah, this would have never worked. I should have known that from the beginning, but I'd
I,
forgotten
I
about it.
I have forgot
To
completely all about that, to be honest with you. So,
Yeah, but now it's like reaching into the era or the area of lazy writing because
it
if you
is.
have yeah, because if you have Spock, you're like, well, what can we say about Spock that we don't already know about Spock? And there's a ton of it because they do it in the next episode where he's like being a scientist, solving problems, and like he's being Spock there. Like you can stay true to Spock, and he just isn't like trying to save the whole galaxy, right? Like he's just doing his thing. What
Keeping.
they've done,
Go ahead.
yeah, what they've done now is basically said, well, everything about Spock has been said already, except who he effed back in the day when he was in his F boy era. So that's all we're gonna write about. And I'm like, there's so much more I think you can say about Spock
There is a
right
lot more
now,
that they can draw from,
and
and
they do, yeah,
but like you said, the Nurse Chapel thing, we accepted. We accepted
hmm
that. I liked those two actors playing this role together and like portraying this. I liked their chemistry. I could feel that they actually like really loved and cared about each other. Um, but I feel like they ended it too soon. If I'm being honest with you.
Well, because to your point, that could have carried through the last two seasons,
Mm-hmm.
and his breakup with her could have been the
Mm-hmm.
reason why he goes and does the Kolinar and becomes more logical.
It goes back to
And
that rule of show don't tell.
yeah, exactly.
Like they told us that she had this relationship with this doctor, but didn't show like why she fell for him like she did. Like we have to see that for it to be, because all we had was how she reacted to Spock, how she was with Spock, and that looked like real love. So having this random guy come up and we have no clue who this guy is, well, unless go back to TOS. Uh,
Yeah.
we have no clue who this guy is. We have no clue how they got close or what that even looked like. So the best way that they could have done that was they still could have introduced that doctor in the beginning of the season, but not make it to where they're already together. You could have spun
Yeah,
this whole will they won't they situation throughout the rest of the series, really. And then season
and
5 ended.
yeah, and here's the thing: I can hear the pushback of, well, they only have 10 episodes, so stuff's gotta get moving. But also, like, look, Paramount isn't making that much other more expensive stuff. You probably could
Mm-hmm.
add 2 more episodes
Mm-hmm.
that could add that fidelity to it, and
Or
it
even that,
work.
like
But
within the episodes, like ideas they have, like you could just have scenes that talks about it. It doesn't have to be a full blown
that's true.
episode talking about this. It could be just one scene. Like
That is
and you
true.
can like show over time what happened with their relationship to where it just you like that's the thing. I don't believe with them not being together, I don't believe that they can't be together. That's the issue.
It's not definitive enough.
Exactly. It there wasn't something that happened that made me feel like, oh, y'all don't belong together. Like, cause it's like
Yeah,
they just
because
ended it for no apparent reason.
also not jumping too far ahead, she's asking about him in the next episode. So there's obviously still some sort of level of care there, but it's
Yeah.
also a care for the other dude, and this is where I think I've said this before. This is where the CW lost me on Arrow and Flash.
They
When
kept having way
you,
too many love interests.
yeah,
Craziness.
Felicity, Oliver and Felicity went
Mm-hmm.
too long, and
Mm-hmm.
they wanted drama in the relationships versus just telling a good
Mm-hmm.
story. And when I think about Spock's character, there's leadership, there's honor, there's the fact that he's a quintessential good guy, there's his brain power where he has to
Mm-hmm.
figure things out. And I felt like in the first couple of seasons, they kind of had a more even balance where it was like,
I would agree.
okay, well, here's him budding as a leader. Here's him budding as a scientist. Here's him doing this, and now it's just like, okay, well, after he's done, having fun with La'an, is he going to do Una next? Is he going to do
You
Pike
know.
next? Like,
You
where are we
know.
going with this? Like,
Yeah. Might as
who
well.
else is going to get
Like,
it?
I mean, it. I. I
It's
felt
tough.
like it was too soon to do something like this if you were wanting to do it. Personally, I felt like they shouldn't have because
Yeah,
it truly doesn't make sense even for La'an's character. If I'm being serious, I always saw Spock and La'an as like brother and sister.
yeah,
If I'm being real with you, like I saw a budding friendship there that was just like, oh, this person understands me differently from a lot of other people on this ship, and not within the way that's more sexual or I'm into this person. It's more of a like I have uh, other women in my life that I treat like sisters. Like they are sisters. They know me
yeah.
in a certain way because they knew me at a certain point in my life that other people hadn't. And it's just that like not every situation with a man and a woman has to lead to a intimate relationship. I
Yeah, I wholeheartedly believe that in real life and in this show. Like,
so it I'm spot.
yeah, this whole Spock falling in love again, or maybe not falling in love, because I guess we'll get to that
Yeah, we'll get to that.
here in a minute when we get um, to
Well, my
to the
that's my
next
four lights
episode. But
moment,
yeah,
or should I say
yeah,
that's our four lights moment.
yeah, because I agree. I didn't know you were going to do 4 lights on it, but it's
You
perfectly.
sure
I
as hell
should
was
have
going
actually
to.
flagged that. Yeah, I should have flagged that for myself. Well, okay, I'll tell you why I didn't flag it for myself, because I
Uh-huh.
do have a parasocial celebrity crush on the actress, so I didn't want to feel like a pubescent boy. Because I feel like someone's moving in on my
Somebody's
girl,
moving
but
there,
it's
my
like,
woman.
yeah. So the adult in me is like, hey, that's not a real thing. You don't know any of these people. Just keep that in mind. So I didn't escalate to that point. But as a plot point, the Spock
Mhm.
getting with his crewmates is getting to be kind of tired. I feel like they're doing one or two things to try to be smart. They're either trying to like harken back to the fact that Spock was with Uhura in the Kelvin timeline, and
Mhm.
people seem to be good with that, or they're trying to do something where it's like, oh, isn't it cool that La'an is a descendant of Khan, and Khan actually ends up unaliving Spock for a minute, and like I don't know what they're going with it to try to make it interesting, but I feel like it's just so low effort writing and thinking on their part to go this way that it's just like, yeah, it's
It
disgusting.
it was there. It was, and I don't want to put this on all on Jonathan Frakes because you do have the writers. Um, uh,
Yeah, I don't think he did anything to.
it was their way. It was their way of furthering character development, not only with La'an but also with Spock. But I felt like you could have. Um, the biggest thing that is with La'an's character is that when you first met her, she was dark, broody. Uh, she seemed like she didn't really want to connect with
Closed off.
anybody. Yeah,
Yeah.
like very closed off.
Well, she
And
sang about that in the musical episode, and like why she was
mhm.
afraid to do it and all that stuff.
And then you learn why with the whole Gorn
Yeah.
incident, and that's something that's been following this character. So like now you're at the arc of her character where she's starting to get over, well, not necessarily get over, like push past that past trauma and
She's
pain
allowing
and
herself to
moving
take these
forward.
risks. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. So
Which
I
started in the episode that shall not be named, but
it
ended when I
it
think she
does.
put the gat under that Gorn's chin. And
And I'm not sure if I even said this during that review. I'm pretty sure I didn't because I was so mad at that episode. But like I understood what they were trying to do within that episode, which is furthering her character along, showing that she can feel these emotions. She can get to she can let down her walls to let someone in and like grow to love or understand them. So I still felt like it would have been. I don't mind the whole her and Spock being close, but I felt like it should have kept. They should have kept it as a brother sisterly type thing. Like this is almost like my best friend type thing.
yeah,
Um,
would have been way more interesting,
it would have been,
and
and
would
it,
have given him different things to do besides
mhm.
engage in relations with
But it
another
also would
crew
have
member.
furthered La'an more because the only like close friend she had on the ship was Una.
Yeah, and then she gets in. You're exactly right. It gives Lon more to do as well than just be with Spock. So yeah, all right. Yeah, we could probably stay on this point for another
We
like
could,
hour because
we could.
it disturbs both of us. If you'd like to know what my next note on this is, because I don't remember what the next scene was exactly, despite the fact that I just watched it, I need to take better notes. They mentioned that Pelia's on shore leave, and that's why Scotty's doing
Yeah,
the thing. And I want your opinion on this
I got
because my
Scotty
note,
acting chief, but keep going.
yeah, my note on this is I don't need. I know Pele is a force because she's a force in the next
Hmm.
episode. I know like when she's not there, we all notice that she's not there. But I don't think I need an explanation every episode when she's not there. Like part of me is like I kind of get like, oh, they didn't pay her this episode, so she's gonna be doing something else
Yeah, because
today.
she's a
Like,
big actor. I mean,
yeah.
actress. So
So so there's like
I
two
can't
episodes in a
imagine what
row
that
now.
bill is.
Yeah. So there's two episodes in a row now where they just explain in a line where she's not there, which I'm kind of like, I guess you have to do it, but I don't know if you have to do it. She's just not there. She's
I
whatever.
so I get it because if they don't, then you're gonna have Star Trek fans. Well, why wasn't Pelia there? Y'all didn't explain why Pelia wasn't there. She's not
That's exactly what they're gonna sound like.
there. Come on, disband your belief. When you go to work, are all your coworkers always at work?
I
Can't
know.
can't some coworkers be out sick, be out on vacation, be like, and does it need to be explained why they're not there? So, like, just
No.
oh, Pelia wasn't in this episode. That's fine. Granted,
I feel like that's good. Yeah.
for this particular situation, because it was something as big as this, they did have to at least put in a line to say why she wasn't there, because then that I do agree that that would have left like a little bit of a plot hole there, because it would have just been like, well, Pelia would have known what to do in this particular situation. But the whole point of the situation was for growth with Scotty's character.
I think now that you say it, it's the issue is that it's two episodes in a row. One time she
Yeah,
was on the ship and just didn't want to come to the meeting. The other time she's on vacation, and I think maybe if her absences are spaced out a little bit where I don't notice them explaining it, but like for me when they explained her absence again, I'm like, I get it. She's not here. Whatever. She's doing Pelia stuff. That's fine.
yeah. And
I wonder what she does on PTO on shore leave. You think she goes to that planet from the TOS episode?
she's a party animal. I I
She's
would
on Risa. She's
I would love to like go on vacation with Pelia. I'm sure it would be a freaking awesome time. I probably
need to
won't
invite her to the
remember
next
half
festival.
of it.
Canonically, she's alive now in our current time.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I also have after this of them talking with Scotty, he's acting chief, and then they show the holodeck. And
which was cool. I
I
like
love the
that.
look of it. Yeah, I love the updated graphics and everything of how the holodeck looks now. I was just like, okay, yeah, I like that. My only issue there was the I don't we don't know where they installed this.
I had no
Like,
clue.
was it
Yeah,
installed in like a storage area that they weren't using, or
because
So, mhm.
there was a quite a bit of part of the episode where I was thinking to myself like, wait, are they? No, they're not at a starbase. They're at a neutron. So this thing is on a ship
It's on
somewhere.
the ship. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm like, what? Okay. They kicked some poor ensign, some poor enlisted person out of their quarters and bulldozed
basically.
their wall to set up this thing. He's sleeping out in the hallway.
She starts the program, uh, and she makes the reference of like for the computer to create a mystery based off of this character that she
Yep, I
grew up
clocked that
loving.
one too.
But a mystery that would be tough for her, basically. It's basically they were basically doing the rendition that Data did in the Next Generation. What? No, not Data. Excuse me. Geordi LaForge did in regards to Data, because how quickly he was able to like beat a lot of the Sherlock Holmes made up
Hmm.
stories. So
Which they make
Geordi,
a Sherlock Holmes reference in here too.
yeah, and so Geordi decides to like say make a villain that could defeat Data, basically. And
Yeah.
that was pretty much the same logic here. And one of the things that I did appreciate within this episode is that somebody pointed out that the holodeck has an advanced AI as well.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah,
Okay, that's a good catch.
that was something that was pointed out. Uh, I think the terminology that was like said was something to the effect of like they need to convince the AI that he is a hologram. That was when he was trying to like get
Oh,
send communications in. So
okay. Because my other note here, because
mhm,
I do have a note here that backs up what you were saying. I said, oh, it's a Moriarty. So,
basically,
yeah.
yeah, and
I have a
uh,
note here where I'm like, Uhura and Scotty need to tell Pike what is happening, and I'm honestly a little shocked that neither of them. I know they're like relatively junior officers right now, but they have that whole conversation, and I'm like, and Pike's sitting there, and I'm like, will you go tell him?
a good. I do feel like a good captain in that situation would have been like, "Hey, anything you want to bring for the good of the team?" Like, I would have said something like that.
I would just straight up turn around and be like, what are you guys talking about? Tell me that's an order. You look scared.
Like I do understand that Pipe wants to give like his people like leeway when it comes to certain things, and like doesn't want to like butt in too much. But I do feel like that would have been a situation even Pike would have been like, hey, what are y'all discussing? And then we need to
Yeah.
like bring for the good of the team, like, because you have you have Scotty who was supposed to be doing the whole thing with the holodeck up on the bridge, where you're supposed to be in this room making sure the holodeck doesn't like pull all the power from the ship. So,
I can only assume he didn't see Scotty somehow. I'm just like, because if it had been
oh no, he
me in the
saw.
chair, I, I get it. Yeah, you gotta trust your folks, but I think even as a manager, which he basically is of the Enterprise and a leader, you have to sometimes be like, what y'all talking about? What y'all y'all look worried. Why do you look worried?
So,
Come here and tell me about it. What's going on?
so I will move forward a bit, but I will point out certain things within my notes. You can point out things within your notes as well around this time. This is also around the time when they went back to La'an, and she realized that she needed help. So she called.
Hmm.
So she called Spock,
Which is
and
kind of the theme of the episode.
yeah,
Teamwork makes the dream work.
exactly. Actually, yes, you're exactly right. Um, some of the things that I loved about the holodeck scenes, Doctor Shaft looked good. Love the fro. Love the fro. Um,
Definitely. Everyone looked classy and mid-century chic, but kind of like later on after we got like
uh,
voting rights and stuff. So that was cool. Did they ever explain why everyone in the holodeck was one of the regular crew? Like
okay,
I was good enough to leave it alone, but I don't remember getting an explanation for it.
and that goes back to the neural stimulator that was on her, because that it was reading her neurons. So like, of course, the people that she works with every day is going to be some of the main people that's on the that's on her mind. That's at the forefront of her mind.
And she fell in love with Kirk, an alternate
Yeah,
history Kirk. So of course Kirk is there, but not quite Kirk. But okay.
exactly. So that's why they were used in that. That's what I was going to point out too. They picked up on that, and then also the whole thing of like when she told Spock, "I leveled up, so they increased the difficulty." Love that reference as a gamer. Love that reference, which
I
made me
also
feel
like
like, is she a gamer in real life?
not from what I've seen on. And keep in mind, everyone, I follow all the Strange New
he
Worlds
he stalks her.
actors.
He stalks her.
I haven't seen her say anything about gaming, but yeah,
Well,
don't
definitely
get me
someone who
arrested,
wrote
dude.
the script. It's a joke. It's a joke. He's not stalking her. Uh, unless or somebody in the writers' room is definitely a gamer. But I love that reference,
That was pretty cool.
and then the how they show Scotty as being a, like I love the depiction seeing Scotty before he becomes the Scotty.
Yeah,
He's he's unsure of himself. You can tell he has a lot of knowledge and knows what he can be that Scotty, but you can just tell that he's just young. He's been traumatized. He got things that he needs to get over before he becomes that Scotty.
which makes me wonder if this still is part of the arc where Pelia, like they're working in her absences into just
Mm-hmm.
his teachable moments, where it's like, oh yeah, of course she'd leave during the big holodeck test because she probably doesn't care or has seen technology like this before, and is like, here, this is your growth opportunity. I'm gonna go to Risa and have a time.
Well,
We got the
I truly think they're working in the point of getting to where she will not. I don't think she's going to be in next season. I think
that would make me sad
they're going
because
to have her character move on.
she's so good.
She is. She's so good, but she's also so expensive. So I don't see them keeping that up. And like, granted, we don't know like how much she's getting paid, but she is a well-known actress. So I would imagine like she's getting like paid for this.
Paid well, yeah.
Uh, let's see here. And the every time they brought up the Last Frontier, like I loved it. Every time they brought it up, they talked about it. It was just like almost like this was like a complete homage to the original series.
I mean, so much meta commentary here.
Mm-hmm.
Because one, there's meta commentary on the holodeck itself about how dangerous it is, which
Yeah.
we did a whole
Yeah.
like probably like hour on the holodeck during our technology episode. And Pike basically says the same thing. Like, we probably should bury this technology in a box somewhere in the desert or something like that. And I'm like, yeah, like it's had issues from the beginning where it does the same thing it's gonna do 100 years from now. Yeah, so
I mean, every time
and
there's
then
a
the
holodeck
meta,
episode, we know what's going to happen.
yeah, exactly. We're gonna lose safety protocols. We got
Uh-huh.
to figure it out to get the doors back
Uh-huh.
open, and then
They're
we
stuck in
got
the program. They got to draw the program out to its completion. It just so happens to be a very dangerous program.
yeah. But the meta commentary about Star Trek itself, and it showed up in Uhura's big speech, but also
Mm-hmm.
T.K. Bellows was Gene Roddenberry, and then Una was basically playing Lucille Ball
Mm-hmm.
to a certain extent. And yeah, it's like,
You picked
oh,
up
they're
on
talking
all
about,
that. Yeah.
yeah, and like I think Paul Wellesley is the actor's name. I can't remember his character's name in this episode, but he's like, and no one would believe a woman first officer, which is
Yeah.
what they
Yeah.
said
I
about
love that.
Majel
I
Barrett.
love that they
Yeah,
put that out there. I was just like, oh, that was said in real life.
yeah. I loved how meta this episode was. Some
Mm-hmm.
people don't like meta commentary, but I loved how meta this episode was, and not meta in the Zuckerberg sense because I don't like him,
Oh, yeah,
but
no.
meta in the traditional definition sense.
And there were a lot of other things that occurred throughout this episode that I appreciated. One, I appreciated the fact that Una told us how many people are on board the Starship Enterprise.
Mm-hmm.
203 crew members on board. I was like, okay, great. Now we have a reference of how many people is on this ship.
Right.
Um, I love the fact that they made it to where Spock was the murderer, but it wasn't the Spock. It was a holodeck creation of Spock because that's the person that she had the most emotional connection to when she had on the stimulator.
Which makes the whole them getting together thing make more sense to a certain degree because it's like this episode, just like the time travel one, this holodeck episode helped
Mm-hmm.
her realize, like, oh, my feelings for Spock are stronger than being a friend or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. Like, this piece of technology has picked up on the fact that, like, something else is going on here. Still hate it, but at least they, like, laid some groundwork for it.
They
Even though
did.
it's still lazy to do.
They did a good job of laying the ground, at least the foundation of it, to try to make it believable. I still just did not like it.
Yeah.
Just like what you said.
And I can't remember what it was that tipped me off, but oh, it was the part where he said something like, "You asked me to stay detached, so I'm staying detached." He gave a line like that, and I wrote in my notes, "Is Spock a holodeck character?" And then like 5 minutes later, she's like,
Oh,
"Wait,
you did? You caught that?
yeah." Like I solved it. I was basically at 80% of a solution for the mystery and didn't quite realize it. But like, yeah, after he said that, I was like, wait a minute, I'm very sus about this Spock now. And then like, yeah,
I'm trying to understand why I just put in my notes just damn. Um okay, now I remember. Now I remember. I remember. I literally
I
I
am
wish I could show
waiting for
y'all
what
this.
this is.
It just like the notes just say damn exclamation point exclamation point. Um,
What does it mean?
it was when La'an wore that black dress at the end.
Oh, of course.
She was wearing that dress. She looked like gorgeous. Like
Look,
and
man.
all I could say was, "Damn."
Look, man. I choose my parasocial celebrity crushes carefully. I don't let my inner teenager out like that without without sure measurement. And yeah, I definitely noticed that.
Oh, and then I would be remiss to not point out the whole bloopers that they did for. Uh, it it's funny because it's like a show within a show, but doing
Yes.
bloopers of the show within the show is is strangely very meta to me.
Can I ask you, do you think all the bloopers were sketch or scripted, or do you think some of them are like actual? I feel like they had like a mix of actual bloopers and scripted bloopers in there.
I think so too, but I also felt like that they were going so far outside of their character when they were doing this. They were just like, we're gonna have fun with this. Like, and it
Yeah.
just came out like that all these bloopers were there. Heck, when the actor that plays Kirk tried to do the Riker maneuver over the chair.
Yes. Okay, so now that Jonathan Frakes directed this episode, I just absolutely lost it at that point. I was belly laughing. I was like, no, they didn't. And he broke the
And he
chair.
broke the chair.
Got upset. And then they already set up that the door didn't work the way it's supposed to, gag, and he ran into the door.
But they were still. That's the crazy thing. This is how like good of acting that was. They were doing bloopers for other characters that wasn't the characters that they normally play. So
Exactly.
they were staying in character for that actor that was portraying that particular character on the final frontier, the last frontier.
Yeah.
So I loved it so much. I love that.
I did too. And all of them arguing about their lines, and then
Yeah,
like the alien, whoever was playing the alien was hilarious. She dropped the first GD,
yeah.
got that I've ever heard in Star Trek.
Got
And it was,
GOT. We
yeah,
don't use the Lord's name in vain here. GOT.
yeah, got
Got.
dropped the first got on Star Trek I've ever heard, and it was well timed. I was already like the. She was like frustrated with the costume. I
Yeah.
was like, got.
So final verdict. Final verdict on episode 4, A Space Adventure Hour. What do you give it?
Okay, so I gave it an 8.
Okay.
What keeps it from being a 9 is we knew it was a holodeck episode, and the holodeck episode played out like I expected a holodeck episode to happen. I kind of like the idea that this is the first ever holodeck gone wrong situation in Starfleet, so I thought
The
that
first
was
ever
kind of cool.
recorded.
But
Yeah.
yeah, but for all of us fans, like we've been through this so many times. But the meta commentary to me, and the fact that even though I don't like it, something happened with the characters in this episode, and Spock and Lon got closer. Um, that was like there's a character moment. They did meta commentary. The ship was in danger, and they had to resolve it, so there was a ticking clock. So I was like, they put enough in this that I thought it deserved an 8, but I couldn't give it a 9 because I was like, there's some
Yeah.
stuff in this episode where I'm like, I'm not quite there.
Okay. Well, I did increase the score from what we were talking about. So I was originally going to give it a 7,
Okay,
but I'm giving it a 7.5.
okay, so we're
Uh,
pretty close.
yeah, we're still pretty close here. It wasn't a terrible episode. It wasn't exactly the greatest episode in my opinion, but I did like certain things, the homages to the original series, the overacting uh, from the Kirk actor portraying his William Shatner within that. Uh, I I love La'an. I love her character. I love how her character is developing. I just did not like that whole thing with her and Spock. To me, it was something that was forced. Uh, it could have went. They could have went totally different direction with that. Um, yeah,
Hmm.
that was one of my biggest issues. But also at the same time, I don't enjoy the holodeck episodes as much as some other people do
Oh,
as
really?
well.
Okay.
Like, yeah, I feel like they're done too much, and we all pretty much know like what's the goings on that's going to happen. or whatnot. But I did like that they were doing that. She was doing a mystery. I did.
I did like that too.
I love mysteries. I love mystery books.
I love a
So
good whodunit as well,
yeah.
and I thought they did a good job with that. I mean, we're starting to pick up on, I think, a major theme of the season, which is because you hit on it in the zombie episode that stuff gets subverted. The stuff you would expect gets
Hmm.
subverted. So usually holodeck episodes are just like fun filler, but it got subverted because there was a character point between um, Spock and Lon. And usually these whodunits are like they're not formulaic, but you can kind of play along with it.
Yeah.
And then they start to tell you like, oh wait, you can't play along with it, and they subvert that genre as well. So I don't know why the genres that they set up for the subgenres they set up for each episode are getting subverted.
Hmm.
But it almost makes me think something big is going to happen in the back half of the season. That is a giant subversion of what we would expect.
I mean, that's a possibility. They're in the season where they can flip a lot of things on their head, and it makes sense to be able to like wrap up certain story points and everything by the conclusion to the series.
Hmm.
Um, but like I said, certain directions that they're going with Spock is I really tried to not be one of those fans. Like, don't mess with Spock. Don't you keep him canon.
You're not being that.
Like,
There,
yeah,
yeah, you're not
and
being that.
I don't want anyone to think that that's what I'm being like. I'm. It's just there are certain things that if it's been established with the character that this is how he is in the future, and you're doing a prequel, you need to do things to get to that point where we first learned about that character, and don't go overboard with it to where like a lot of the stuff that he learned in the original, you're already making him learn that in the prequel. So it's like what? So he had to learn it twice? That doesn't make sense for Spock.
Maybe he's more stubborn than we than we think.
I mean,
But
yeah,
no, I agree with you.
Spock is stubborn to a point, but he's logical. He's still a Vulcan. He still thinks things out. Like, yeah, is he going to get everything right? No, he's not. So there are going to be areas where he's going to learn stuff. But a lot of times when it comes to Vulcans, when they do something like it's an error, they learn from that. And a lot of times they don't do that error again in the future.
Yeah,
So yeah.
I would agree.
So you gave it an 8. I gave it a 7.5. Well, so that puts that well, for me, I don't know. I forgot your other scores on your
For
other
I think that's worth
episodes.
noting. Until we talk about this next episode coming up here, um, this was the highest rated episode that I had out of. I think this was episode 4. This was the highest of the 4.
Really, this was the second lowest rating that I gave so far.
Yeah. Well, remember, I ran into back-to-back weeks of, or not quite back-to-back weeks, but I don't really like zombie stuff, and I don't
Yeah,
like second parters. So, like, yeah, I graded those harder, and I can't remember what the other. Let me check my notes. You can.
yeah.
Second part. Oh, and the Wedding Bell Blues episode was just this again, that with Lon. Like, I'm sick of the Chapel Spock stuff too.
I am. Stop.
So,
Uh, like, but you have like other characters that can have relations. So, like, focus on the Uhura's relationship
let
right
them
now.
F. Yes.
Like, there's so many. Heck, Sam hasn't had anything like big to forward his character this season. Give
And he,
Sam and La'an a relationship arc.
I
Like,
think Sam leaves Starfleet to go have a family as well. So like,
so that makes sense. He gets
yeah,
in with La'an, and they the ones that go off to have a family. Like, I don't know. Uh,
that would doom her though. But yes, you could do that.
how would that doom her? Oh, did he?
because
Oh,
they get unalived
they
in
do get
TOS. You didn't know that?
unalived.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Oh wow.
I hope they fix that somehow. I would like a retcon where that doesn't happen. Because that episode is weird as well. Because Kirk rushes in as like, my brother's here on the floor. He's gone, and then it like doesn't affect them at all. Like they don't even care about each other. I'm like, okay, is that not a big deal? All right, well let's figure out who did it. I guess is it important who did it, or should we just leave?
Well, okay, let's go to episode 5. So, episode
Okay,
5 is.
are you interested in a quick like just a 30-second bio break here?
Oh yeah, that's fine. We can definitely take a little quick break here before we go into
Because
episode 5.
we didn't take quite too long on
Oh
that
no,
one. Like
no. We have
we're only
we
like 10 minutes over what we're trying to do.
we can take a little bit of a break. All right, Popular Explorers, we'll be back in just a moment. All right, welcome back on Popular Explorers. We are back. We had to take a little quick break, but we are recapping Star Trek Strange New Worlds once again with your boy on Popular Black Gamer, and always with me, my boy Patrick. So we're going into episode 5, Through the Lens of Time. Spoiler alert, I loved this episode.
Double spoiler alert. I also love this episode, so it's gonna be low drama in this conversation.
Yeah, there is. I mean, there, there were still certain things within the episode that was kind of like, but like
Yeah, it wasn't perfect. I mean,
comparatively, I was. So I think I said this in I think episode when we were recapping episode 3. Whenever I am watching a show and I forget to take notes, that means you've sucked me into it to the point.
that happened
Uh huh.
that happened to me too, and it started to make me realize because we weren't rushing the research, but like we had to watch these episodes today to do this today, and I was like, oh, this is one I really needed to watch twice to make sure I took
You
his detailed
got
notes.
everything.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, I think what we're gonna do at the end of the season when we finally do the last episode, we do a recap of the season, and then
oh okay,
we'll discuss things that we might have missed in first viewings, and then like talk about how we liked the season, things that we thought they could have done differently, things that we really loved that hey, yeah, keep that. Uh, so we'll have a full recap review of the season at the very end. So
gotcha. But no, I will tell you one thing right off the bat is,
mhm.
especially back when we were watching Game of Thrones, I was able to like clock like, oh, this is mid-season. This is where
Mhm.
stuff's going to start to go down. That's going to set up the
A
back
dramatic,
half of the
some
season.
type of dramatic effect, something
Yeah,
really dramatic has to happen. Hmm.
yeah. For some reason, I didn't clock this as mid-season, and I don't know why. I was trying to think like, did they? Because everything that happened to me was more surprising than if I had just sat there and been like, oh, we're halfway through the season, something's about to happen. Like, I don't know if it's because they released the first two episodes at the same time or what, but
Possibly.
it's this episode started off a little bit lighthearted, and after coming off the lighthearted episode the
Yeah.
week before, I was kind of like, oh, we're
Yeah.
gonna keep rolling along, and man, it just keeps.
That was a
We
big
did not end up
near.
there.
Near.
Not even
Well,
close.
go ahead and do the recap because I know that's like not too long, and then we can go through our notes of the episode.
Yeah, let me just bring it up real quick. Okay. Oh God, we're starting right off with it. Junior
Mm.
Medical Officer Dana Gamble, um, who we will speak with. I think I was annoyed by him before this episode, but we'll speak with him with respect during this episode. And Ortega's documentarian brother Beto join an archaeological expedition led by Chapel and Corby, exploring an ancient building that Corby believes may hold the secret to immortality. When Gamble picks up a glowing orb, it explodes and destroys his eyes. He is transported back to the Enterprise while the rest of the away team, joined by Spock and La'an, are trapped in a building. M'Benga fails to restore Gamble's eyes, and scans indicate that Gamble is, well, I'm going to have to edit this. Gamble is brain unalived. Brain unalive. Brain not, no juice there. I'm sorry if that's insensitive,
Yeah.
but I can't say what, because of the internet, I can't say what it actually says here.
Yeah.
Despite appearing to be conscious. The away team discovers that the building is a prison for extra-dimensional parasitic beings called the Vesda. They navigate the building's unusual metaphysical properties to escape. Batel, seemingly triggered by her Gorn DNA, recognizes Gamble as a possessed Vesda and attacks him. Gamble is apprehended by security and placed in the brig. He unalives a guard, which, obviously Wikipedia didn't write it that way,
Hmm.
escapes and takes Scotty, Sam Kirk, and Chief Engineer Pelia hostage to try to take control of the ship and free the other Vesda. Pelia unalives him, and Scotty traps the Vesta spirit in the transporter pattern buffer. That paragraph is not written for YouTube. Just FYI.
Which is why
Yeah,
when we have more time, we're actually going to rewrite these
yeah,
for
exactly.
ourselves, not actually do the rewrite in Wikipedia. Like
Oh no, I don't care
we'll leave
about
that to
that.
them. The people who do that,
unless they,
we'll leave that to them.
unless they come through with some money, I'm not writing
Exactly.
for them. I guess we'll cover this off because we did for the last episode, but we don't need to do it for every episode because I don't know who these people are. Directed by Andy Armaganian. Well, I'm going to have to learn how to pronounce these names if I'm going to do this.
Mm.
God. All right,
Just
here we
butcher
go.
his name. Just go ahead and butcher it.
He did a good job directing this episode,
He
whoever
did.
he is.
He did.
Written by Onitra Johnson and Davey Perez.
Onitra Johnson and Davy Perez. Okay, Onitra is
Hmm.
definitely a sister.
You know,
I did want to point that out.
if she's not, I'm not going to Google it.
She's not?
If we find out, no. I'm saying if she's not, I'm going to be
Oh,
surprised. Okay, so I I once in high school, which hopefully this doesn't dox me. Okay, I'll say it this way. I don't want to get doxxed. I once had a similar thing happen where I read the name of the teacher and was like, "Oh, this teacher's a sister. This is cool." Like it was an English teacher. This teacher's a sister. This is cool. And I walked in and I was like,
that is not a sister.
"What? Who are you?" So yeah, I try not to
Okay,
draw too
okay.
many conclusions.
I just researched her. She is a sister.
Oh,
So
okay.
Onitra Johnson. Yes.
Onitra is a sister.
So we got
You
that
think
right.
she's a Delta or a AKA or which one did
Looking
they say that?
looking at her, I would peg her as a Delta. But
Hey, all right.
like it's funny. I have a superpower when it comes to that. I can tell a Delta when I see a Delta. Uh, and for the unpopular explorers, I am a member of a black fraternity. I'm not going to say which.
Try
So
not to dox each other.
trying not to dox. Um, so like I know the divine non-Greek organizations pretty well. So like if I had to peg her, I would peg her as a Delta. I might actually like do a Google search of that, see if that's true.
See if that's right.
But I completely enjoyed this episode, like from start to finish. When it we said this offline. We talked about this offline, but I want to reiterate that during the live show. I said when they introduced Nurse Gamble that I feel he's going to get unalived at some point during the season because
Okay.
it's a
Hmm.
known trope that they will in television that they will introduce a character to give like the other characters some emotional situation to stretch the main characters. And I don't remember Gamble from the original series, nor talked about in any of the other Trek series. So
I don't know. I think he's brand new. Yeah.
yeah, so it was a made up character that they did, just like Hammer. So this episode, as soon as it started off with him doing his log, I was like, oh god dang it, this is the episode. I pegged it straight off.
Okay. I did as well. Do we want to get into the harebrained theories now? Because I have a harebrained theory
That's
about Gamble.
uh you know what? Let's do the harebrained theories afterwards.
Okay.
Uh,
Um,
so I
I'm happy to do that because I mean I don't want to I don't want to lose credibility right here at the beginning.
exactly exactly. So I do want to point out some things, and of course, you can follow. You can point out your things with the notes where we're at. Some of
Yeah.
the biggest things is what we talked about earlier when it came to this newfound relationship with Spock and La'an, is that Nurse Chapel actually asked La'an how he was doing because she knew that they, got closer or whatnot, and that was like a good friend of his and everything. So she was just trying to ask to like get information, and the way that she did that, I have to agree with you on it. Like it sounded like an ex girlfriend that still cares about her ex and just wants to see if he's, if is he doing okay. I still truly care about him.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, I don't want this to take too long,
Okay.
so maybe let's do like 2 minutes of it. But can you hit the there are four lights for me?
Oh, really?
Hmm. If you could.
Oh, I got you, sir. I got you.
There are four lights.
You have the floor, sir.
This is coming from a place of personal feelings. I am so sick of situationships that La'an describing what she and Spock were doing, and that Chapel asking about it, and then trying to get information on it for her own purposes. It drove me up a wall. I'm tired of situationships. They do not get to the goal of trying to be married. They're all just waste of time. And I get it. These people are on a ship and they're way younger than me, and so maybe it makes sense for them to do it. But the minute that La'an described what they were doing, I was like, I want to turn this episode off. I'm so frustrated. what happens to Gamble in this episode's a gut punch as well, but I was so ticked. I was like, they're just in a situationship? This is where we're going? This is what we're writing for? To get to a situationship? What are we doing? Enough.
So
I hear people, wait a second. I hear people in dating gassing each other up because they get in these situationships thinking like, well, okay, I'm just out here looking for serious because I got some not serious on the side and all that stuff. And it's like, no, you're just wasting your time. Get out of the situationship
completely
and go find something real. That ended right at 2 minutes. So I feel satisfied to say that, but her description of her situationship made me very angry.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you on this. I tried to find some way to like spin this to where it was like, no, the writers meant to do this and da 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 da. Like I truly did, but the both of us are already so tired of the whole Spock screwing practically the whole ship. Like,
he's gonna F everybody.
Oh,
Sam
everybody. And that's why
and whoever. Yeah.
That's why all the staff is pretty much turned over by the time Kirk
because Spock can't keep it in his pants.
Because Spock cannot keep it in his pants. I'm sorry. That's probably one of the funniest conclusions that we've had.
Yeah, I don't want to dwell on it. I know we're watching Runtime, but I was like, when you did your first 4 lights, I was like, oh, I actually do have one because I can't stand situationships. I can't stand it.
At this point, screw the Runtime. We got to talk about this in more depth. So, I was also upset about her saying that it was a situationship, but also I did understand why it was a situationship. La'an's character, to me, it makes sense that she wouldn't want to go full bore into a relationship right away. She's already like coming out of a deep, long depression from what she dealt with the Gorn.
Yeah, bunch of trauma.
And now is allowing to let people in. And Spock would be considered probably one of the first people outside of that terrible episode we won't name. As far as a real, we'll call it a real person because the other person was part of a different timeline that really doesn't exist after everything.
Right.
We're not going to go into the screwiness of time travel. We're going to leave that for a strange track. So, it made
our alternate timeline, people. We'll find out.
It made sense for her character to want to take things slow, and that would be, I would believe in real life that would be her way of taking things slow. It's like, hey, we're kind of filling this out. We're just, trying. We're just having fun right now. Counterpoint.
Yep. So while we're still in 4 lights, situationship is not taking it slow. And I can point to Star Trek where someone took it slow, and it was Burnham, and he ended up being a Klingon. What was his name? Tall guy.
Yeah. I don't remember his name.
Tyler.
I haven't done
Ash Tyler. Yeah.
Ash. Yeah, that sounds about right. I
Yeah,
haven't done a
so
rewatch of Discovery season 1 and 2 to remember that song.
Right. She took it slow with him and started to try to build something meaningful, which I'm like, if you're both senior officers and you're going to take this risk to like, and I know, HR is probably different on a ship, and they were just testing a holodeck because people are getting bored with being around the same people that they are.
Yeah.
So I get it. That there could be good reasons for it to be a situationship, but if your whole thing is like you want emotional development, you want to learn what it's like to make meaningful choices, you want to sort out your preferences, a situationship is not it. And the writer's getting to the point where it's like, well, a situationship is really where you can figure yourself out. It is not.
Well,
Like,
no. So I truly and oh, okay. I understand what you're saying. I do want to point out the fact that like I see where you're going at.
oh
But
yeah,
look, I'm using
you my boy. I know we're on the same page in the grand scheme of things. But yeah,
I'm using my own when I was in my 20s remembrance when I was going through my F boy stage,
yeah,
and I didn't want anything too serious, and I was just doing these situationships. To me, in that mode that I was in, that was me taking it slow.
hmm,
I'm not saying that it was actually me taking it slow. I'm not saying that this was a smart thing to do. Yes, it was definitely the dumbest thing for me to do when it comes to two human beings and emotions. But I thought that that was me taking it slow. And I feel like that's what they're doing with La'an's character. Because she doesn't know how to navigate these types of feelings at this point. She's
so
really still young when it comes to understanding and being able to like actually uh really go full bore into a relationship.
I totally get that because I am a survivor of more than a few situationships at this point, and it's taken that and maturity for me to be like, you know what, these things are actually a waste of my time,
They are
and
wasting
I'm
time.
not gonna do
Mm-hmm.
that anymore. I get that. I wish they would do one of two things. They would either say, hey, for the sake of entertainment, we're just going to keep putting her in situations with consequences and her
Mm-hmm.
personal relations
Mm-hmm.
and avoid the
Mm-hmm.
situationship stage. Or profile the fact that she's confused to do with what to do with her new comfort and is making intentional but some unintentional choices, some comfort choices that have gotten her into a situationship with a senior officer, and show that it's like really kind of a very messy path to get into a
Mm-hmm.
situationship, or for the sake of entertainment, just skip that part where she's going to do it and just escalate the number of personal decisions she's going to make under her new dynamic. I think that's much more interesting than her just hooking up with Spock and calling it a situationship.
I
That's just me.
I would agree. I would agree with you. Um, but I will also say I'm gonna go on record saying this. As much as we don't like the whole Spock and La'an relationship, I truly believe they are going to stick the landing on this. Because,
You know, oddly enough, I agree with you. I know this is a four lights thing, and I
mm-hmm,
feel like I got a lot of that out. I do think, along with you, they'll stick the landing on this. Like something's not going to go right, and it's going to be
mm-hmm.
meaningful by the end of it. But my current first couple steps in the journey have led to my first ever "This is four lights" initiated by me in the review. So I
Which
got
I
to
love.
respect the fact
I
that
love that,
I
by the
am
way.
ticked. All
But
you got to
yeah,
do is
but
say situationship to me, and I'm like, all right, there are four lights.
my whole thing as your boy is to help walk you off the ledge. So either either I'm walking you off the ledge or we're jumping off together. Okay. So in this particular situation, like I said, as much as we do not like, I cannot stress, excuse me, why do I have an issue saying that word? I cannot stress this harder. We do not like the fact that Spock and La'an have some type. of romantic relationship. It I'm not going to say it doesn't work because we believe that the writers are going to stick to landing. I feel like it shouldn't work,
Yeah.
or there were different directions that they could have took the characters in that would have still made sense. Because
Yeah.
the whole trope of a triangle, a relationship triangle,
Yeah.
is that whole will they won't they still thing, and they still could have played with that with the whole Nurse Chapel. I understand it probably would have got annoying to a certain degree, but I felt like that would have made more sense for the Spock character than, oh, I had a relationship with Nurse Chapel. She don't want me no more, so I'm going over to La'an. What,
Right.
bruh? What?
And it's funny because this whole thing started with him getting dancing lessons for something that actually didn't happen because it was the Trelane episode, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, he was getting dancing lessons for his wedding to Chapel that didn't happen, that sparked this whole thing. And it's just like, okay. And now it's a situationship, and I'm just like, all right, all
And
right, all right. Well,
but it would have been an understanding if like Spock in the TOS to the movies and whatnot, that it did turn out that he ended up with her. So like now they're trying to like create the backstory of how they got together, which would have been very interesting. But that wasn't the case. They never were
yeah.
together. Oh, from what we know of, they never were
For all
together.
we
So
know.
this
Well, actually,
this was just a blimp on his relationship, like that girl that you probably went out with in your 20 somethings that you probably don't fully remember.
yeah. And what is the Vulcan age for your 20 somethings compared to us?
You know what, i'm not gonna I'm not gonna talk about that now. We're probably just gonna do an episode on that.
We're going to do
we're,
a whole episode on it. I like
we're either gonna do a
that.
whole episode of just Vulcans and understanding them, or we're gonna tie that in to another episode. But I'm writing that down as an idea
Okay.
because
Well,
that's a
while
good
you're
one.
writing that down, what you said did re-spark a thought I had the other day, which is
Okay.
in Star Trek right now, a lot of people have lineages. I don't think Spock ever had a kid ever in any of his journeys. I do wonder if a good way to stick this landing would be for him to maybe have a secret kid out there, and maybe it does something to Lon, or you know what I mean?
Oh,
Like,
that's gonna piss a lot of fans off. No, no, I don't.
I, look, if you're
I understand. I do want to point out. I understand the direction that you're trying to go. As far as a writing stick and showing the complexity of the characters and everything, that would work in any other series. But because it's Star Trek and it's specifically Spock, it would piss off a lot of fans.
you got to make a choice to do that. It's one of those where
Mm-hmm.
like someone at Skydance probably has to make would have to make that choice. To be honest with you, because they would have to live with it and figure out what to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
But it when I'm thinking about like they've ended up in a situationship and I'm writing, how do I punch up the drama? Like secret kid that he doesn't refer to, and he's kind of more like Sarek than he ever really wanted to be, is like
I
a
mean,
path to go. But to your point,
that would be
everyone would hate it.
that would be a good character development, and I have to agree with you that that would be a very good, interesting, even a subverting expectations plot twist
Hmm.
type. Like I just see the internet blowing up as far as the Star Trek corner of the internet
Oh, it would
blowing
melt
up
down. Yeah.
if they went that direction. Like the funny thing is we're talking about this, and if it happens, just so happens to happen in the future, we're gonna be like, well, it happened. Darn you, Patrick. Just like with tomorrow, you called this into existence, sir.
They have already filmed this. They're showing this season. They already filmed next season. I can't influence anything, season. And I don't even know. I don't even know who to influence. But
it would be funny if the exact date that they're filming that episode where they do that would be they started today. Then
I tell you what, I would stop making predictions. I'll just be like, these things are getting dangerous. I'm not going to say anything.
For future Dante and future Patrick, this was recorded Sunday, August the 10th of 2025. All right? Future Patrick, future Dante. This is when this was recorded. Sunday, August 10th, 2025. And at any point in the future, this happens. This particular situation happens where Spock just so happens to have some secret love child by La'an. If this happens, we are going to reverse back, and I'm editing this, what I am saying right now, into that episode. And at this point, truly, at this point, I want this to happen.
It's like Alfred said in The Dark Knight, some men just want the world to burn.
At this point, that's what, you know what? Screw it. I want this to happen. I want this to happen just so we can have this conversation in a future episode.
That would be amazing. If Spock ends up with a secret kid from La'an, it would blow my mind.
He already has a secret sister.
Yep.
Just like, we can make it to where the kid just so happen to be augmented somehow, and that's why it's got to be a secret.
Oh, you can write it. You can write it.
You can write it, yeah.
And the fact that he's never talked about Burnham, it already fits that, of course, he wouldn't talk about his, yeah. Well, now we're on Kid Watch.
And Patrick, I'm going to scold you for 10 minutes if it happens. Put the counter up exactly 10 minutes. I'm going to rant about this one particular situation.
I think I would have earned it at that point. I would be surprised. I would be surprised, but if there was a plot thread I wanted to pull as a writer, and I don't even write fiction yet. Like I'm thinking about writing fiction like much later in life for me. But if I was writing fiction, like my brain would have to go there and be like, maybe there's something interesting I can do here.
Yeah, we're not professional writers, but like collegiately, we had to do a lot of writing.
I wrote a book.
Yeah, you wrote. Oh, that's right. Yeah, you've written a book. Excuse me. My apologies. My apologies. You have written a book. I was saying this to the point of like we're not screenwriters.
Exactly. Yeah, we're not that.
So, but we know the structures. Being in school, doing all the papers, reading books, and like having to do like synopsis, breakdowns, all that good stuff. Like we understand character development, direction that it should go. I like truly, if we're looking at it in a vacuum where this isn't like Star Trek related, like that is a really good idea. Like seriously, it really is. It truly is. And you could draw in all types of crazy shenanigans that can go in dealing with this one storyline. But the simple fact that it was Star Trek and the Spock, I'm telling you, everybody would lose their minds. And
they would lose their mind.
I would probably be next to them like, yeah.
You'd love it and hate it at the same time. My laptop would catch fire on its own, or my tablet would catch fire on its own. Just so I'm like, oh, something happened in Star Trek. My battery exploded.
We're getting all types of ding, 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 ding.
Exactly.
Like, all these, what is going on? Your Star Trek subreddit has a lot of activity going on. Oh God, what just happened?
Yeah, exactly.
So okay, going back into we're jumping off of the 5 lights. I mean, there are 4 lights, by
And
the way.
we technically only have 10 minutes of runtime left, but you said
Technically, we're
screw the
we're
runtime
gonna
so we
add
can explore this.
we're gonna add an additional 10 to 15 minutes. Okay.
Okay, I'm
we're
ready to
gonna-
go. Yeah.
We're gonna do the black church thing. Like, give me a little bit more time here, congregation. Give me just a little bit more time. All right.
The number of times I've been in church where the pastor's like, and I'm just about done, and like after like the 5th time he says that, I'm like, I don't believe he's actually close to done. I don't think we're gonna.
Yeah. I'm almost finished. No. At 1 hour later.
Exactly.
He's still preaching. Okay, so a few things that I do want to point out about this episode. One, that
Yep, take off.
that it's an archaeological dig. Super cool. Super cool. Like, this is peak Star Trek here. We are going peak Star Trek into a new civilization, a new race that we have zero clue about. We're learning about them. Like, it was peak. Loved it.
Loved it.
Everything
Loved
about
it. Yes, I totally agree. I don't have a specific note on that because I guess I was just enjoying the fact. But yeah, like when the Enterprise shot the beams down and like it revealed the temple and all that stuff, and it was a bigger mystery than they thought it was going to be. I was like, let's get the popcorn out.
Yeah. I was like, as soon as that happened, oh, this is going to be a good episode. All right, let's go. Also, one major note about Uhura's relationship with La'an's brother. Love it. I love their relationship.
Beto?
I love their dynamic. I love that he won't always be around a lot, so he's not like on the ship all the time, but he will be a reoccurring character. So they're not like just throwing this relationship in your face like they do Spock. So
I do wonder if there's more to Beto than meets the eye. Like, not that he's Optimus Prime or anything, but like he is allowed to film this mission. And I get maybe it's a bit of an accident or whatever. Maybe they think, I guess they set up, they're like, oh, this is going to be a simple thing. We're just going to dig in the ground. Everybody beam up, Starfleet, whatever. But like, it's weird that he's here for something that ends up being so consequential. So like, part of me wonders if there's like, and I'll tell you what made me think of this, because there's another Enterprise reference in here. So maybe I'm just in an Enterprise frame of mind, and we'll probably get to that later when we're doing stuff. But Mayweather on Enterprise was dating a journalist, and she ended up being with Starfleet Intelligence.
Yeah.
And that is the fact that he was like in the senior meeting and then got to stay on the dangerous mission, and he kind of freaked out, but not really freaked out. And he was the one that sent the drone in the other room.
That's a good point.
That caused the.
That's
I'm
a
like,
good point.
I was like, is he? What's his
Good
angle?
point.
What's he doing?
Really good point. That, you know what? I'm gonna start paying attention to that now. It's a possibility that you could be right on that. But I really do think that this is just
Could be a red herring, but yeah.
I think this is just a standard relationship that Uhura's going to learn from, because like we know the relationship's going to end at some point. So the question is how it's going to end, how serious do they get, so on and so
But
forth.
going back to the last episode, she's got to get with Scotty, and she and Scotty had a lot of screen time last episode. But yeah,
Who's got to get with Scotty?
Uhura. You don't remember them dating at the beginning of yeah, they were like having relations at the beginning of, what was that, the Undiscovered Country? I think it was the Voyage Home. But they got together at some point for, I don't think they stayed together, but they were together for a little bit.
Why don't I remember that? I've rewatched all those movies 18 million times.
I'm gonna Google it. You can keep going with your notes. I will make sure I'm correct since I asserted it. So, but yeah.
I mean, if that is true, like, I mean, wow, like, crap, even I miss things. Okay, yeah, they do, like, okay, they talk about they, Ahura's relationship with the brother, and then the fact that he was in the senior meeting. I loved Pelia throughout this whole episode.
I have a note that says Pelia is the best thing.
Oh, so great. So great. Like, if anyone embodies their character, like, to a T, Pelia, her actress is like, ah. That's all I can say.
I loved it.
Her through this scene, also the ending scene where she got really dramatic and
Yes.
everything, and then like turn. Do you want that at a different angle? Oh my god! It's just
Yeah, do
like,
you want one for the camera? Was I mean, also because I've like roasted the writers for what they're doing with Spock, but
mhm.
like to end such a heavy episode or an episode that becomes as heavy as this episode becomes with a joke that just kind of breaks the tension
it,
is
it was perfect. It was the
yeah,
perfect joke to break the tension in that particular situation, and it was so Star Trek: Strange New Worlds. It wasn't
yes,
like it was like
exactly.
out of left field or anything.
Yeah, exactly. It wasn't weird. It was core to her character. They set it up earlier in the episode because she made the same joke when the episode was lighter, and I was just like, yeah, that was. I like that.
Some of my biggest gripes about this episode though, when they had Gamble look at that orb, which in my mind when I first saw that I clearly thought grenade. Like, what, was I not the only one? Like, was I the only one that thought like weapon?
Well, and the other thing is, didn't he pull that orb off of one of the unalived bodies that were on
No,
the floor?
no, it was underneath the tablet that they found that they gave
Oh,
to
okay.
Nurse Chapel, or was it Uhura? Well, they
I
that tablet and that they were looking at that like got certain words and they got the whole evil transcription from.
Yeah, and I hate to say it like this. In fact, I'm going to say something else before I say this.
Hmm.
There's a there's a picture of her and Scotty in TOS on one of the movies where like they're definitely dating or something, but they're not saying which movie it is, and I can't spend all the time looking for it. It might have been Star Trek Five. Um,
Okay,
uh,
if it was Star Trek Five, that would make sense because that's my least favorite, and I haven't rewatched that as much.
gotcha. Yeah, that's the one where why does God need a starship? Like, yeah, it was weird.
Yeah.
I hate to say it for what happens to his character, and I hate to say it
Hmm.
out of blackness because I wish they gave it to someone else. I think that some of his over exuberance and inexperience on being with on away missions that led him to pick that thing up and like look at it. I don't. It feels like something that felt like a rookie mistake and it ended up costing him his
Hmm.
life essentially,
Hmm.
which is sad on so many levels. I was despite the fact that I really didn't jive with his character, I was legit sad by the end of this. I was like, man, oh, poor Gamble,
Well,
poor
yeah, I
Gamble.
didn't. I truly didn't expect that they were going to off him this soon. If I'm being honest, I knew at some point he was going to be thrust into a situation that was going to end up with him losing his life. But I thought it would have been more of a heroic moment, more so than what happened in
Then
this episode.
something really random. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I thought it, but also at the same time, the reason why they did this is to show that, like, yeah, we have a lot of lighthearted adventures with Star Trek, but also people do unfortunately get unalived. It is being a part of the Federation and exploring and everything. It is a dangerous job, and
Hmm.
even someone on their very first away mission could end up getting unalived.
Yeah,
due to a
could be their
certain
last
mistake.
away mission for sure.
Hmm. So like I understood why they did it, and like I said before, and like I truly want to pull up that clip when I said that. I knew that the reason why they introduced him was because they wanted to have some type of big effect of someone that they got close with passing, and I didn't know who was going to affect the most, and of course it turned out to be Dr. Mbenga. So
Yeah.
it, it sucks that this was the episode. Like, I wish we could have got more. I think this goes back to, and forgive me, fans, but I can't remember her name. Uh, in Discovery, the android woman,
Oh, Arium.
Arium. Yes, thank you.
Hmm.
Uh, it reminds me of that because, but I expect it from Discovery because Discovery doesn't do a great job of fleshing out the back characters, the
Yeah.
characters that you don't see. They only do a lot of fleshing out of Burnham and two or three other characters, but not all the other ones.
Well, and they tried to flesh out more of them, like right towards the end, to deliver the emotional punch. But
But yeah, but
even
they
then, it's
they did a
not a
terrible job
ton.
at it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when they had that Arium Citric relationship episode, like it started off with her doing her log, just like with this episode. It's almost verbatim, really. If I'm being honest, I mean, if I have to point out a negative with this, it's kind of like y'all need to do something different. Like when Hammer passed away, that was impactful because it was one of those things. It's just like, yeah, it when it happened, you were just thinking like, oh, they're gonna find some way to like be able to save him at the end, and that was the case. He had to pretty much be unalived in order for him to not grow those Gorn within him. So
Yeah.
that's what I was hoping for him. That's what I was hoping for this
Something a
one.
bit more heroic. Yeah.
Yeah, like you have other situations where you got to know him more. Like even if it was just like a scene here, a scene there, uh, just little bits and pieces where you got to understand his who he was, and then like it just so happened to get to that point where he started to get to that level of confidence where you know he's going to be a really great officer, and then the situation occurs, and in order for certain people to be saved, he does this heroic moment, and yeah.
Yeah. Well, you're pointing out something that we've pointed out before that's a little bit wrong with the series, which is it's a prequel for so many characters that you can kind of like count up in any
Mm-hmm.
situation.
Mm-hmm.
Like, like even like the ending one where it was just him and Pelia. It was like, well, him and Pelia are the only ones because Spock,
Yeah.
Scotty's got to go on to do this, and
Yep.
Sam Kirk's got to go on to do this, and Mbenga's got to be in the next series. So you know, so it's like there's really only two people in jeopardy, and that's a little bit of an issue with the series. Shall I bust out the
Go ahead.
crackpot
Go
theory
ahead.
now? I don't think Gamble is dead or unalived. Sorry, I don't think Gamble is unalived.
Um,
Uh,
Especially with the way that the episode ended.
And also with the way it began, because he said, "Hey, this was the away mission that changed my life forever," and that signaled to me that something was going to happen to him. But I'm like, wait, how are you
Huh.
recording this log after you got unalived?
Oh, I
Like,
missed.
how do
Good
you?
point,
Yeah,
Patrick. Oh, I missed that. Or at least I didn't refer back to it.
yeah. So unless I'm like just totally misremembering, like his exact words were, and this I didn't realize my first away mission was going to be going to change my life forever, because when he got his, and this is another thing, like there's more body horror
Yeah.
again in this season, but when he got his eyes like
Yeah.
removed, eaten,
Yeah.
or whatever it is,
You
that
know
they
what that
showed.
you know what that reminded me of. Uh, uh,
Hmm.
uh, I'm probably like dating how old I am. Once Upon a Time in Mexico.
Oh man, it's been a long time since I've seen that
I
movie.
know. Like
Yeah, they had the bloody.
the bloody eyes with his.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I also at some point when it seemed like it had all like clotted or whatever, he looked like Caecilius from the first Doctor Strange movie. If
Mm-hmm.
you if you
Yep.
remember that. So that's what I thought. That's why it stuck with me because I was like, oh, this is the episode he becomes blind, and then they put the visor-looking thing on him, which I saw someone point out, like, wait, that was to regrow his eyes? Why didn't they regrow Jordy's eyes? But I don't care about that. It's fiction, so it's all right if it didn't work, if it doesn't all make sense. And so that's what I was thinking about, and then when they were like, oh, you're actually unalive, I'm like, wait a minute, how do you know this mission was going to change his life forever? Before, unless he said it just super aspirational, like this is my first away mission. This will change my life forever, like a
That's possible.
inexperienced person would say. So maybe that's what they were trying to do. But and then to your point, when we didn't hear what Mbenga said to his parents, and honestly, he didn't start that call to me like how you typically see
Yeah,
in the movies and
like you're
stuff.
sad. Yeah. Like
Yeah,
the times that we saw Picard having to do that, or who was another? I feel like there was another captain that had to do that. It was always very somber.
yeah. Well, also in any movie, when like the president has to make that call or a commanding
Yeah,
officer in a war movie has to make that call, it's all just like, I mean, they start the call where like the family like already knows what happened and who they're about to talk about, like, so like, and then the computer screen glitched, and so I was like, well,
yeah,
is he still in there somehow? Like,
yeah.
so I don't. I'm not totally closing the door on like, hey, some weird because they brought the only thing that's making me not fully commit to the idea is that they brought Colder back in basically the same way, almost like even more viciously, and so I'm like, are they gonna do this again? But I'm if they if they if they don't bring him back, then I'll just know that that's what happened. But part of me is like, okay, I think they're gonna bring him back at some point, but we'll
Okay,
see.
so I do have to break the YouTube rule just to prove my like just to like bring this point across.
Hmm.
Whenever I'm watching like Marvel or DC movie or show, and a character passes away. Um, for instance, my favorite character on X Men
Gambit.
'97. Spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't watched X Men
Oh,
'97.
sorry.
If you haven't watched it at this point, what the hell are you doing with your life? You
What
should
have
have
you been
watched
doing?
this a long time ago. All right. Disclaimer over. All right. Gambit is my all time favorite character in X Men. He dies in one of the last episodes of the X Men '97, and
No, it was at the midpoint.
it was at the midpoint. Yeah, you're right. It was at the
Hmm.
midpoint, and I was devastated.
He
But
sure was.
I always say this anytime a character passes away in comics: are they truly deceased, or are they comic book deceased?
Exactly.
And anyone who's read comics, who sees shows that were like, heck, Dragon Ball Z, where it's like, oh, we can bring it back with the Dragon Balls. Even with like Star Trek Discovery, how they brought back,
Culver. Yeah, that's
yeah, Dr. Gower, yeah. So like, anything can happen. Any space shenanigans, they can create whatever to bring him back. I do see that. But I do feel like if they went the direction, it would take away from what I felt they were trying to do with this.
well. I agree with that, but I also feel like the his possession, the necromancy that occurs,
Hmm.
and things like that tended to not give us more about Dana Gamble. It gave us more about what's happening with Battelle. It gave us more about the threat level on the ground. Like like these other places where they're, for lack of a better word, resurrections, which for those who go to church that we just alluded to, carries more meaning than something that happens in a show. Usually, it's about something that's with the person, and the person's going to have a different outlook or something like that on their own lives. His whole arc in this episode, from being a fresh-faced ensign nurse, scientist person, to essentially being unalived or at least missing in action or wherever he is right now, served other people's plot arcs. So, like, I do wonder if they're going to pay that off by bringing him back. But yeah.
Okay, got it. There are a few things about this episode that I do want to point out before we conclude.
Oh wait, you're trying to move on?
I am.
You don't want to talk about this for another like 2 or 3 hours?
No.
I have a few notes as well, but go ahead.
When they discovered that the whole eternal life thing was referring to those entities or people being trapped in those orbs and apparently can be released at some point. And then they pointed out, like, maybe this is a prison and not necessarily like good people that was just trying to like stay alive.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what did you pick up on that?
It was one of those things, like, I'm glad that they, like, it was all about a hypothesis. Like, they were continually trying to hypothesize about like what that place really was.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And like, just from what we got from the entity that took over Gamble, it did lean more towards the fact that it possibly was a prison, and a lot of those orbs that Spock saw when he looked down in that hole, like, that all those are bad people that were imprisoned within that society, and that was the prison.
Yeah, it was like the TNG episode, right? There was one that was like that, except it didn't potentially unalive you by and take out your eyes if it happened to you. But yeah, I think it was what Crusher. No, not Crusher. It was O'Brien, Data, and Troy all got possessed and took over the ship, and it was a very similar type situation. It was like actually bad guys, but 90s television, it didn't lead to all the body horror and
Yeah. The
things like
crazy
that.
thing is, I wonder if that is kind of a piggyback to this particular story too. I wonder if this is the like beginning of that,
Oh, maybe.
which is that that is very interesting to me. Um, Certain things that I pointed out, like when the whole fight was happening between Gamble and Patel. I think it actually, before I think it even started, he said something to the fact of, when he was like, "I'm going to uh, off one of your crew members," and he looked at the doctor and said, "Not the Night Child,
Not the what?
not the Night Child."
Oh,
Like,
what does that mean?
I picked up on that briefly,
Hmm.
and I might be misremembering it, because like this was definitely two episodes that I was trying to like make notes off of,
Yeah, I know.
but like, he did say something to that effect, and I was just like, hold on, wait, what?
Yeah, that's one thing about this entity is it can like read minds. It seems
Yeah.
like,
So I got
and
that here too.
yeah,
Like, he can read minds and also walk through force fields? Question mark.
can push organic matter that seemingly is not alive anymore potentially um,
Oh, well,
through a
yeah,
force
that makes
field.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah, but still strange because I think the force field would still have effect on what you
Organic
could
matter.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um. Roger, did Roger piss you off this episode?
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
he was irresponsible. That's all
Thank
get out.
you. I'm just like, dude, we get it. You're archaeologists. This is one of the best, the biggest and best finds that you've found in all of your existence. Dude, we gotta be careful here. Like, and I'm sorry, when what happened to Gamble occurred, I would have been like, okay, we're getting the hell out of here. Like we would have all left with Gamble.
Yeah, I don't know how they got Gamble out of there and not everyone else. Because the next person who tried to leave was the local person, and he just got like disintegrated.
All right, so
by the door laser.
I picked up on this, and I understand why they did that. All right, so look at it as like a warden. And wardens can change at any point in time within the future. So when they created that prison, I'm going in the mindset of this is a prison because that hasn't been fully explained yet, even if it will be. So
Lon calls it a prison, but
yeah, but we don't fully know. That was just a hypothesis.
Okay, got it.
With this being a prison, we have to create some type of system to where a warden can go in to check in on this prison to make sure everything is still working the way that it should. No one has tried to escape. No one has tried to break into it to do whatever woody woo, right? Mm-hmm. So they created that system to give your blood and it scans you. So now it has not only the scan of who you are, but also your blood. So it knows that it is you that's going in to this prison. So if anyone was to escape, it would immediately disintegrate them if they were not accompanied by the warden.
Okay.
Which just so happened to be Nurse Chapel because she was the one that had her fingerprint.
Okay.
So that's why they needed her to do everything because this building sees her as the warden.
Oh, so she walked Gamble out to be beamed up and then walked back in.
Yes.
But she would have needed to walk everyone else out in order for it to be safe. Exactly. Okay. They do, actually, that is a big plot point here, is that they can't really do anything without Chapel at the end of the day because she's the only one that gave her blood for it. So that makes sense.
So I think I truly think that they did a good job of really pointing that out, and then like showing at the end where the computer got infected, that glitch. I take it those like words that popped up were from the language that was within that prison.
Yeah, look, as long as it doesn't end up like the episode Mask from the 7th season of TNG. Then I'll be all for it. But it seems like what Pelia described, they're going to have to deal with. And I don't know, which is good drama. I don't know how they're going to deal with it.
Mm-hmm. This is going to become a issue later.
Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully in this season. I would not want it. It seems like they've set up another big bad for the second half of this season. So maybe they pick it up and run with it, or maybe I don't know what they do with it, but
one last thing.
Okay,
this is gonna be petty, but I have to say this just because my name is the Unpopular Black Gamer. All right, why was the alien named Niger? Like that's too close to something else. All right.
I totally missed that. Whoa. That was his name?
Yeah. Nijar, something to that effect.
Oh, wait. Easy now.
I know. I'm saying the name of the alien.
Don't use the vowel pronunciation.
Also, at the same time, I'm black, so, I mean...
Yeah, we're good.
I can say that. But, like, still, that was too close to that I'm gonna be able to think of different names now.
I've heard, if anyone has listened to the podcast, I don't think they record anymore, but it's called Dork Trek. But they had an episode, and I think
That
there are a
something
bunch
like that
of
happened.
like, yeah. Well, they pointed it out about the Grand Nagus, and they were
Oh
like,
yeah, yeah, yeah. I saw that.
they're like, why? Why is he called that?
Too close to another word. I don't understand like why like the writers in the room was just like, let's just call him this. Like no one doesn't point out, okay, that is too close to another word. We might need to think of another name.
Yeah.
Like
Let's call him something else, way away from this part of the dictionary.
you know what? His name can't start with the N. Now, can't start with the N and can't end with any type of jur in it. So
Pretty much.
get back
Pretty
to
much.
it. So I'm sorry, I had to point that out. All right, I had to point
That was good.
any thing addition you wanted to point out before we get to how we felt about the show? I mean, this episode.
It's just a few. I'm going to be selective because I have a few here that I'm not going to use. Because I think we kind of talked about it, even if we didn't talk about it directly. Chapel makes an Enterprise reference at the beginning of the episode because she's like, what do you think Starfleet does? Show up at these heritage sites and then gets in a shooting match, laser fight with them or whatever she called it. And that's an Enterprise episode where they do exactly that. So I thought that was funny. Definitely feel like Batel is turning into a Gorn, and they confirmed all that. We talked about it. There's another Starfleet jacket that I need now, besides from that from
The jackets that they were wearing on the
TNG
planet.
episode 8. Yes.
So yeah, I have a note in here talking about their clothes in this series is on point, and I want some of their clothing.
I want that jacket. I want that jacket, and I want that jacket from TNG Season 8, as you call it.
Yes.
And I'm like, I'd be very happy with both of those jackets. Oh, we talked about this before the show, the Spielberg references, which helped build the suspense. We got a Jaws reference where Chapel's like, we need a bigger landing party. And then, of course...
we need a bigger boat.
Yeah, exactly. And then, of course, there's the stepping out on the invisible bridge, which I didn't clock in real time as Indiana Jones, but is a Indiana Jones reference.
Okay, so I do have one note about that bridge that I do want to point out. So those glasses that Spock was using earlier in the episode to see down the hole, he couldn't use those same glasses to see the bridge.
Okay, so this is a cool aspect of this episode. I'm glad you brought this up because I had totally forgotten about it. The causality, the effect happening before cause loop. I think if he put it on looking for the bridge and he hadn't already put it on to look for the bridge with it, he wouldn't have seen the bridge through the glasses because it hadn't happened yet. I know I sound like a crazy person trying to explain it.
It's the whole time travel.
Yeah, he didn't use the glasses to discover the bridge for the first time. Therefore, if he uses the glasses in the past to try to discover the bridge, he wouldn't see it.
Oh, well, that's BS.
I love that, though, because honestly, when he said, I don't remember getting this cut on my hand,
Yeah.
I actually clocked that. I was like, and I think, yeah, you just confirmed you caught it too. Like,
Yeah.
that's because it hadn't happened yet.
That's why when you said that, I was just like, oh yeah, they did explain the whole. It hadn't happened yet, but did it happen? That time travel makes no sense. Time travel makes
Indeed.
absolutely no sense whatsoever.
Indeed. And then the only last thing I'll mention from my notes is I'm gonna read it verbatim. Oops, wait a minute. I gotta pull it back up. Apple Notes, everybody. It kills your comedic timing. Here we go. My note says, "Come to think of it, why doesn't Starfleet use more drones?"
You know, good point. Very good point. I thought about that too. I don't know why I didn't put that down in my notes because I was very interested into the story. But yeah, the
Yeah,
fact when he sent that drone into the other room to scout, I was
yeah,
like, hold on, that actually wasn't a bad idea to use that
yeah. It
drone to
wasn't.
scout. Because if the
It
drone
seems
gets
like it should
destroyed,
happen every episode.
it should. It should. If the drone gets destroyed, we can just make a new drone. We can't make a new
Right.
person. Like, so that should be a standard kit on all away missions.
Agreed. Agreed. I was legit confused for a second because I was like, well, yeah, his annoying little video thing should be the thing we always send in before we send people,
You
but
know? I'm glad you pointed that out. I almost forgot about that one. Okay.
thank you.
All right. So with everything said and done, what do you give episode 5 of season 3, Strange New Worlds,
I
titled?
gave it a 9.
Oh, you
Oh,
gave it a
sorry.
9.
I jumped in too soon.
Oh
You
no, you're
were
fine.
about to say the title.
I was pausing for dramatic effect. That's on me. Uh,
Okay.
entitled Through the Lens of Time. So you give it a 9 out of 10.
I did.
You want to give me your synopsis as to why you gave it a 9 10?
Honestly, it was high drama. There
Mm-hmm.
was drama on the ship. There was drama on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
Spock had to be a detective to try to figure it out. So it immediately, going back to my four lights thing, it divorced me from the whole like, oh, who's Spock gonna make love to next?
The
Kind of
Doctor.
watch the yeah the Doctor exactly like watch that I'm on, and I just think everyone kind of grew in this episode. Even Sam Kirk had a moment.
Yeah.
Like his one line was like, "I don't think he's in there anymore," and it's like, oh, Sam's a more perceptive scientist than I thought he was because he's kind of just been like a happy-go-lucky guy. It
Man. Oh,
feels
you
like
got a
so.
point.
Yeah, and so like everyone had something to do. Things of consequence have happened in this episode. There was a good threat level, there was good danger, and Spock had to figure it out, which is kind of the point. He's kind of legit. He's kind of the hero of the series because he's the one that's going to be keep going on. So yeah, I gave it a 9.
All right. So with everything we discussed, I'm gonna tell you my original score, and then I'm gonna tell you what I changed it to.
Okay.
I originally gave this episode a 9 out of 10, just like you.
Okay.
As we discussed it, as I started thinking about the episode, I wanted to change that. And I want to preface this by saying um, the best, the greatest episode of Strange New Worlds that I've seen is Ad Astra Per Aspera.
Mm-hmm.
I gave that a 10 out of 10. So
Yeah, I
every
think I
time,
did too, or close to it.
I think you
Mm-hmm.
did. And so every time, because I gave that rating 10 out of 10, like this is the best episode of Strange New Worlds that I've seen. Every time I see an episode that I thoroughly enjoy, I have to rate it against that episode and say,
Good.
is
Yeah.
this episode better or on par with this episode that I gave a 10 out of 10? And I can honestly say that it wasn't better. It was close to being on par, but it wasn't better too. So I couldn't give it a 10.
Okay,
Uh,
that makes sense. Mm-hmm.
so I am giving it a 9.5 out of 10.
9.5.
Yeah.
Okay, you're okay.
I'm giving
I don't
it
I don't hate it. I don't hate it.
I'm giving it a close to perfect because just like what we said at the beginning of this one, uh, the episode made me forget to take notes and I feel like the episode draws me in so much where I forget to take notes. This is a really good episode.
I agree. Maybe I should have given it a 9.5. I think the situationship thing maybe
A,
cost it a half a point
a
because I
nine out
did
of
have
ten
a four
is
lights movement.
a 9 out of 10 is still an understandable rating, and I won't castrate you at all for that. Like
Thank
it's
you.
still a good rating. Like I just wanted to give it that 0.5 because I truly believe that this is the second best episode of Strange New Worlds that I've seen.
It was truly an episode that, and also the situationship thing happens like very early in the episode.
It
There's
does.
a
So
lot
it's
of time
enough
to
for you to
forget it.
forget about it. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. And so I was on the edge of my seat for the bulk of this episode.
I truly thought that somebody else was going to get it. Like throughout the whole episode, I truly thought somebody else was going to get it. Definitely I knew it was going to be the main characters, but like still La'an could get it. Uh,
Yeah, she can. I'm sorry. That was my inner teenager talking. I gotta tell him to be quiet.
and when I say get it, that means they can be unalived. Like there's still characters on the show that I know can be gone at any point. So it that does add that additional level of tension. But like I know Spock isn't gonna go. I know Gamble is. I'm not Gamble. Chapel is not gonna go.
Right.
Gamble definitely. Yeah.
You're meaningless to the rest of Starfleet history, so yeah. Pick up the orb for no reason.
Sam Kirk, he's not gonna go because he doesn't go until TOS. So, like we know that there are certain characters that's like they have plot armor. Unfortunately, like it just is what it is. They have plot armor, but I feel like that they did put other characters. Because do we know what happens to Una? Did we ever fully
We have
find
no
out?
idea what happens to Una, to be
So,
honest with you.
like that's another character that something could happen to her. We know exactly what's going to happen to Pike. We know exactly what's going to happen to Spock. Um, we know what's going to happen to Uhura, Scotty. We don't know. We don't know what's going to happen to Pelia. That's another character.
We don't, but we kind of,
We have an idea. Yeah, I know.
yeah, we feel like she survives.
Oh
Like,
yeah, yeah.
like,
Oh yeah.
yeah,
She better survive. Come on now. Like
yeah.
Pelia has become like one of my all-time favorite engineers. Sorry, Jordy. I'm sorry. Sorry,
Sorry,
Jordy.
Jordy.
But like I love her character. So, but
Yep.
this particular episode had me on the edge of my seat, had me wondering. Like, I'm trying to break down mystery with them. It was cool to see like they were in some type of like time shift, and the drone camera that they had was able to see them all in the same place at the same time, but they don't see each other at the same place because they're not in the same time. It the whole thing, and like what you said, which was a very good point, and this is what made me put the 0.5 on my score. When you said that practically every character in the show showed growth,
They
which
did.
which is difficult for a show that has this many characters. But they found a way for each character to show. Even Ortegas from the previous episode where she uh, wasn't the best officer towards Una,
A
and
bit insubordinate. Yeah.
yeah, and she even showed development. Heck, when she got them out of that whole situation with the star burst, and they only had like 30 seconds worth of ship movement, and she's like, I love it. I guess I love a challenge. I love the fact that we are at the point with Star Trek that they are able to depict big things like that, of how the ship had to dive, and like she had to like pretty much spin the ship in a certain way to like keep from getting hit by the debris that came from this. It was That's why I added the point five to it. I could rewatch this episode a multitude of times.
Yep, agreed, agreed. I mean, we're basically aligned. I'm literally docking at point 0.5 for situationship, and maybe that's too harsh. I'll reserve my right to revise it in the future.
I did want to dock it because of that, because the previous episode. So like we already talked about how we didn't like their
Right.
relationship within this previous episode. It's just this episode they decided to define it, and you didn't like that word. So I, I'm
Situationship.
I'm willing to let that one slide, but I I'm going to say that I'm not looking forward to how they're going to end this whole thing with Spock and La'an. Like I'm probably gonna roll my eyes
Yeah,
every time they talk about this situationship that they have.
because the whole thing with it being a prequel, and it's not quite as dramatic as Anakin, but it's like, how does Anakin become Darth Vader? How does Spock become so stoic?
Mm-hmm.
And so we're all kind of, I think we're all kind of programmed to think like, well, who hurt him? Because he'd only do that to protect himself. I guess maybe it could go in the other direction.
And that's why it made sense just to keep the whole back and forth with Nurse Chapel. It was the only
Yeah,
one that I could think of. It was the only situation that I could think of that would make sense with his character to be to want to be closed off. But also at the same time, like just knowing how things kind of wrap up, you have Pike that goes into the beep chair. Una goes someplace else apparently because she doesn't become the captain of the Enterprise,
and I
nor is she
promise
the
you,
first officer anymore.
I'm not looking up on In Memory Alpha because we've already blown our runtime.
We have. Oh, we have.
So I'm
We
not
have.
getting on In Memory
I'm,
Alpha at this point.
I'm wrapping up here. We'll do
Okay,
more research offline on that, but to for the
okay,
most part, we from what we can remember, like Una isn't truly talked about, so we don't know what happens to her. Um, Laan is definitely not on the Enterprise. Um, who else was I thinking of? Oh, geez, like Gamble, we knew was not a character on the Enterprise, so it like made sense that this something like this happened. So
yeah.
like there are a multitude of things that
Even
can occur.
Ortegas and
Oh yeah,
the woman that geez, slurred that, sits next to Ortegas,
yes.
where I think Chekhov usually is not there.
So like having people that you got close to for Spock's character, having people that you got close to had a strong bond, strong relationship, and then something happens to them, whatever, they pass away, they get sent to another ship for some crazy reason, or they get put into like jail for some crazy reason. Like you could have a multitude of these things happen to these characters that we know don't make it to the original series. That shows why Spock became closed off by the time he became first officer and Kirk was captain. Because it's like I've been through all these traumatic experiences, and it got to me as being a Vulcan, and I need to get those feelings back in check. I allowed myself to get too deep into my emotions, so
Yeah,
it would make sense.
it
Is
would.
all. But I'm wondering if the writers are even going in that direction or even going to stick that landing like that.
Yeah, well, I guess that's why we got to keep watching. We got
Yeah.
two more seasons of it to see what they do. I guess we could argue how much emotional control, because that is a bit of a narrative question in TOS,
Mm-hmm.
Spock really has. Like, he's much more reserved as a human, but he still steals the Enterprise to take
Mm-hmm.
Pike somewhere. And, like, so maybe there's some type of balance he hits. Yeah, but yeah, I don't know how he gets there. To go back to my four lights moment, I don't know how you get there with the situationship, but all right, go off.
I mean, granted, I think after we've done a rewatch of TOS, we could probably see some of the correlations
Mm-hmm.
that they're trying to do when it comes to this particular character, which is like probably one of the all-time biggest characters in Star Trek. That is a good question. Actually, we might need to put this down. Who is the biggest singular character in all of Star Trek?
We can do that episode, but I'm gonna need to see somebody's resume if it's not Spock. Not to spoil that episode for anyone who's hung in to listen on this, but if it's not Spock, then
Well,
who? Okay,
we'll add that to the list. But we're gonna
it
wrap
was
up.
Miles O'Brien.
Hilarious. We're going to wrap up because we're already way over our time. We tried to keep it succinct, but we apparently always have a lot to talk about.
We're not quite at 3 hours yet.
Not quite, but if we keep talking, we're going to be. So,
Okay.
as always, thank you for joining us. Please like, comment, and subscribe about our review synopsis of episodes 4 and 5 for Star Trek Strange New Worlds. And, uh, you know, join us next time. Next week, we'll be back on track here. We'll just do just one episode and not two. So we can just talk specifically about that one. Ain't that right, Patrick? We're going to do that, right?
Yeah, for like 3 hours. We'll talk about one episode as opposed to two
Here we go.
episodes for 3 hours.
See, here we go.
Welcome to the 3 hour Star Trek review where we talk for 3 hours about 1 hour episode.
But seriously, thank y'all for joining us. And as always, we're going to end the episode with that wonderful quote by Jean-Luc Picard.
It is possible to commit no mistakes and still lose. That is not a weakness. That is life.
I want to end right now, but I have to end it with something else.
You betrayed your uniform!
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I found that soundbite again, and I had to throw that in there at some point.
We might have to find a segment for it. Okay, now I know where you're going with it.
Yes.
Thank y'all.
You see my thought. Hey, y'all
Yep.
have a good week. We will see y'all next Sunday for episode 6 recap of Star Trek Strange New Worlds. Y'all have a great day.